Pokémon. The father of Pokémon. Chapter 81. In the villa area. Many people have heard the movement outside and stuck their heads out of the window. But most people are more vigilant and do not go out easily. Lu Sheng drove the car, slowly moving forward, looking around. Soon, he found the first piece of meteorite not far from his residence. A small hole was smashed into the ground, and the size of meteorite was only slightly larger than a fist. The surface of meteorite was hot as it fell from the Hideki layer. When Lu Sheng hit the meteorite with a flashlight, he noticed that there was some turbulence in the space around meteorite, probably because of the power of distorted space. He brought tools specially and touched them carefully. After finding out that everything is fine, have Mew put the meteorite in the trunk of the car. Originally, Lu Sheng was worried about the size of the meteorite, but now after seeing the specific size, he has to praise the system for its careful consideration. I don't know how long the effect will last if such a piece of meteorite is soaked in water. Lu Sheng is more worried that if meteorite loses its effect in the future, it will be impossible to cultivate cones. No, if Palkia is unlocked in the future, there will be a lot of raw materials. The trunk has been covered with thick iron sheets, and after the meteorite is placed, it is cooling rapidly. Lu Sheng searched for O4 nearby and found 7 or 8 pieces of meteorite of different sizes. The largest one is only the size of a large bowl, so it is generally more convenient to store and transport meteorite. Lu Sheng, with the help of Pokémon, scoured the area, and then continued to look elsewhere. During the period, other people have come out to check. Someone found meteorite, and Lu Sheng did not step forward, quietly collecting meteorite in the villa area. Busy until 3 or 4 in the middle of the night, Lu Sheng first pulled a cart back, and then came out to pull another cart. If other residents in the villa area hadn't come out curiously, Lu Sheng would have collected more. Rao is so, 70 or 80 blocks have occupied more than 90% of meteorite in the villa area. Because Lu Sheng has the help of Mew, the handling is very easy and the efficiency is high. Other residents of the villa area also came out to watch the fun, took videos, and some people picked up the meteorite after it was not hot. Meteorite retention is not illegal. What's more, the amount of meteorite has fallen, and the country at most collects some to go back to study and explore the ingredients of meteorite. After Lu Sheng went back and studied for a while, he couldn't see anything special about meteorite, it looked almost like a normal metal mine. It was past 10 o'clock in the morning when I woke up. After washing up, Lu Sheng grabbed some slices of bread and finished a simple breakfast with Pokémon. During this period, he logged onto major platforms and saw a lot of news about meteorite. According to media reports, only a certain unfortunate ghost was found because meteorite fell on his feet, scaring him out of a heart attack. Fortunately, he was sent to the hospital in time, and his life was not endangered. Most of the rest were smashed cars and glass, and no casualties were reported. Meteorite fell around Yunhai City, and people picked it up one after another. The government also sent people to collect a wave of meteorite and prepared to take it back for research. Everyone is still treated as ordinary meteorite. Lu Sheng thought about it and was ready to go back and spend money to acquire it. If someone finds something special about meteorite, I wonder if they can research something. Lu Sheng couldn't help but wonder if it could only be used to water cones in the end. According to his personal understanding, he believes that meteorite's power of twisted space dissolves in water and is used to water the cones. Because of the special genes of the cones, it can absorb the power of the twisted space dissolved in water, and then the fruit of the cones can open up small spaces. Lu Sheng put most of the meteorite in the basement of the villa, added a large lock to the door, and only brought a fist-sized piece of meteorite to the laboratory. Mr. Lu, the Pokémon born last night is fine. Zhou Churan saw Lu Sheng brought in a bag and asked in doubt, Mr. Lu, did you buy fruit? Lu Sheng shook his head and said, no, I picked up a good thing and planned to use it for some experiments. Well, I thought you were so sweet. Zhou Churan asked curiously, why did you suddenly leave last night, did something happen? Because he was too busy last night, Zhou Churan didn't ask carefully. Well, I thought of an idea, so I hurried back and finished it in a hurry. Lu Sheng asked, get someone to buy a big bucket, the kind of big plastic bucket that holds chemicals. Okay. Zhou Churan didn't ask too much. After the big bucket was bought, Lu Sheng filled the water and put down the meteorite. Observed for a few minutes, as if nothing had happened. Lu Sheng sealed the bucket first, thought for a moment, and decided to postpone the breeder cone tree for 2 or 3 days, otherwise it would be difficult to explain it later. The matter of meteorite will definitely be known to everyone in the future. Lu Sheng needs to let everyone understand that meteorite appeared first, and then he designed the cone tree gene based on the research on meteorite. After all, watering with meteorite water. Instead of meteorite, he has already designed the cone gene. Although there was a gap of 2 days, it was not surprising that he was a genius creature designer. Let the people in the laboratory settle down first, the people outside are at a loss anyway, and it has been a while since the cones were cultivated. I don't know if the cone seeds need to be placed in the culture medium, or in meteorite water. Lu Sheng opens the system interface and finds the plants column below. Pokémon on the right and plants on the left. Only one type of cone is unlocked in the current plant. Lu Sheng clicks in and jumps out of the editing interface. Name: Cone Tree. Fruit Tree Genes. Growth rate 7878. Lifespan 15. Fruiting frequency 1. Fruiting number 8. Drought tolerance 1-1. Fruit genes. Size 2. Speed 3. Weight 2. Fruit shape drawing. The rest of the genetic options are similar to Pokémon. There is only one more option at the end, which seems to be able to edit the shape of the fruit. After Lu Sheng clicked in, an interface popped up again. The fruit of Earl Dervish was round and single in shape. How to draw. His heart moved, and the appearance of the fruit began to change. It turned out to be following his ideas. If you take the form of a Pokeball. Lu Sheng thought to himself that the appearance of the fruit really turned into an ordinary red and white Pokeball pattern. Originally, after Lu Sheng thought that the cones were born, did he pick and process the cones first? Currently not needed. As long as it is edited in advance, the resulting cones are equivalent to Pokeballs. That's fine, it's convenient enough. The first time the cones produced by breeder could not be directly formed, and the shape needs a little solution. It will be more reasonable to improve it in subsequent generations. After all, I used the Pokeball pattern as the company logo at the beginning. After thinking about it, Lu Sheng thought of a more comprehensive and safe way. Such low-level mistakes should not be made. Ooh. Zhou Churan picked up a Growlithe and fed it. Lu Sheng is watching Audino and happy. Although the shape of the two is rather strange, they are not as disgusting to Zhou Churan as ditto. Mr. Lu, what should they be called? Zhou Churan looked at Audino and happy, and always felt that there was something wrong with Lu Sheng's recent design aesthetics. That is, Growlithe is normal. Like Audino and Happiny, it seems to be able to walk upright. The key is that the two Pokemon look really strange. Well, this one is called Happy. Because it looks like an egg. Almost. The one in your arms is called Growlithe, and the name is a little more foreign. Zhou Churan touched Growlithe's big round ears, and the little Growlithe murmured in her arms, enjoying it very much. Growlithe. Why does it feel like there is no connection? Do you want to call Beard Dog? I always feel that the hair on its chin should be more vigorous in the future. Zhou Churan suggested weakly. If you can call a bearded dog, I feel more cute. The official name is Growlithe, and the private nickname is whatever you want. Lu Sheng grinned, pointed to the last Audino, and pretended to frown. I didn't think of a name for the time being. Zhou Churan wanted to give a suggestion, and heard Lu Sheng say, forget it, it's good to have a similar name, that's Audino. Does this work too? Zhou Churan was stunned and muttered, Mr. Lu, is it too casual? I think it's nice and distinctive. Lu Sheng muttered a few words, clapped his hands and said, yes, it's called Audino. You are such a genius. Zhou Churan rolled his eyes. Now that Lu Sheng has decided, let's call it Audino. The name is indeed a little special. Originally, Zhou Churan also wanted to name it Tuxedo first, or Gentleman, because Audino's pink skin is like a tuxedo draped over his body, looking like an elegant gentleman. Lu Sheng spent 2 hours in the laboratory and returned to the company. The company has started production of promotional videos for Hoot Hoot, Mew Mew and Bulbasaur in the past 2 days and is about to complete it. This morning, information on 3 new Pokémons was announced to the public. Among them, Hoot Hoot and Bulbasaur caused a heated discussion. Bulbasaur, a big toad, has a symbiotic seed behind it, which can grow up with it. And according to the description, when the seeds in the back grow to a certain extent, you can use plant-type moves, such as Vine Whip. Although the Pokémon official blog only released a few pictures, it was enough to make many people wonder and scream. Hoot Hoot generates no less buzz than Bulbasaur because, according to descriptions, it can hypnotize living beings. And the Pokémon Company claimed that this trick was a super attribute, which caused everyone's imagination. Does the super attribute move mean that Hoot Hoot acts on people's spiritual level? Lu Sheng returned to the company, and after checking the introduction clips of the three Pokémons, he asked people to upload them to the company's official website first. Afterwards, the Pokémon Company uploaded it to the social platform, and it was forwarded, commented, and liked one after another. Some netizens moved to other video platforms, and in just half a day, they occupied the click list of major platforms. Almost every time a new Pokémon introduction video comes out, it always arouses great enthusiasm from netizens. The official account of Pokémon Company on a certain video website, in just 1 month, the number of fans has broken through 10 million level, and the growth rate is very impressive. I want to buy a garlic toad. Don't talk about it, I'm going to save money. Wow, the design of Bulbasaur is so unique, symbiotic seeds. After watching the introduction, the evolution will still bloom, Kanmina and Lily's bloom, looking forward to it. The seeds haven't grown up yet. Thinking about carrying a big suitcase in the future, aren't you tired? Poor little. When will the price drop? The flowers have been waiting for are dying. Meowth looks okay, the golden horn on the top of the head is very interesting, and the price is relatively cheap. If Hoot Hoot can be used for hypnosis, I have a bold idea. Some comments were made on the three Pokémons. Some insomniacs expressed that they want to buy a Hoot Hoot, so that they can sleep without sleeping pills in the future. However, Lu Sheng has no plans to open Hoot Hoot purchase rights to ordinary people for the time being. He bluntly hoped that a hospital could cooperate, including the initial 3 Hoot Hoots, 2 of which would be placed in the Yunhai City Hospital. No money is needed, and 2 are placed in Yunhai First Hospital for free to treat insomnia patients. Outsiders are naturally praised and think that Lu Sheng has a sense of social responsibility. Of course, Lu Sheng's approach has 2 main purposes. The first is to give back to the President and Secretary Wen for their constant help. The second is to try and accumulate experience in the first hospital. After Lu Sheng posted the news on Weibo, Secretary Wen quickly called and agreed with Lu Sheng's approach. At the same time, many genetic experts at home and abroad also focus on Hoot Hoot and Bulbasaur. Many biological designers said that Lu Sheng's technique is amazing, and many people have thought about the idea of symbiotic plants, and some people have made similar attempts. However, the symbiotic plant is bound to the gene organism, not only does not help, but may cause the symbiotic plant to attack the host. Or symbiotic plants that affect the daily lives of genetic organisms. But Bulbasaur can control the vines of symbiotic seed growth, they feel incredible, and it is difficult to penetrate the mystery inside. As for Hoot Hoot, can you control the mental level of people and perform hypnosis? It is introduced in the video that just by staring at Hoot Hoot's eyes, it can complete the hypnosis unconsciously, which quickly causes the creature to fall asleep. Another brand new gene technology. Zhao Qian Zhao Ji. Being able to come up with all kinds of novel genetic technologies in just 3 months, everyone has no idea how to evaluate Lu Sheng. Genius bio designer. They think genius is not enough to describe Lu Sheng. A true genius is nothing but a proud technique in a year or 2. Others are pistols, Lu Sheng is a machine gun, and the frequency of firing bullets is really not the same level. They are shooting all aspects of the field of genetic biology, which greatly expands everyone's ideas and horizons. According to the current creation efficiency, I am afraid that in a few years, the Pokémon series will surpass the world's most popular, Northern series, genetic creatures in all aspects. The high-profile Pokémon Company has moved one after another. After the announcement of 3 new Pokémon, the news of the first batch of Squirtle has once again affected the attention of many people. At the same time, Evolution Liquid is about to open a sales channel to the outside world. Lu Sheng has contacted the factory and customized a batch of glass bottles. It can be used to hold evolution fluids at that time. Including the packaging of the evolution fluid, it is also designed in advance. Before the official release of the evolution fluid, Lu Sheng intends to try a wave in the park to see if it can lead to a batch of Pokémon evolution. Pokémon Park is closed on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. The main purpose of the park's opening to the outside world is not for profit, but to allow some people who can't afford Pokémon to get close contact and cultivate fans. As such, it's only open 4 days a week, leaving Pokémon to rest and not be disturbed by the outside world. This day is Wednesday, and Lu Sheng came to Paradise with a batch of evolution fluids. The evolution liquid has been packed in glass bottles, and the amount is relatively full. A few laboratory personnel such as Zhou Churan also followed along, and they also wanted to see if the evolution fluid could work. Lu Sheng has no bottom for this comparison. Because the probability of success of evolution fluid is very low. If today belonged to the African Emirates, maybe none of them would be successful. At present, there are thousands of Pokémon in the park, mainly Pichu and Squirtle. 787. In the morning, a batch of Squirtle was sent first. The buyers in Yunhai City have already received the Squirtle. Many people have posted on social comments, and most of the comments are, "Squirtle is like a jerk." In the afternoon, the Squirtle squad of the fire brigade will also be sent here. After a period of training, the 20 Squirtles were more disciplined than other Squirtles, and mastered all skills. "Mr. Lu, what's the matter with calling us?" A group of breeders, male and female, stood in front of Lu Sheng. Among them, some are old employees, and some are new recruits. Every breeder is more satisfied with this job, because the company is famous enough, and every time a job is mentioned, many friends envy him. The salary is not low, and I can get in touch with cute Pokémon every day, and the atmosphere in the park is very good. Moreover, Lu Sheng planned a more detailed appreciation route for them, no longer can only be a breeder for a lifetime. As long as you work hard, you will have the opportunity to transfer to other positions in the future, and your salary will also have the opportunity to increase. A few days ago, a breeder was appreciated by Lu Sheng because of his work and research, and now he has become a manager of Pokémon Park. They are also very covet such an opportunity. Call all the Pokémon and feed each Pokémon the evolution fluid. Lu Sheng pointed to a car of evolution fluid behind him. Okay. The breeders began to move apart. There will be a whistle in each mouth, and when the whistle blows, Pokémon will think that they are at the restaurant, and most of the time they will come to eat. Of course, not every Pokémon is a foodie. Some Pokémon are still hanging out and playing in the mountains. As they get older, their courage grows. Although Lu Sheng told them not to leave the confines of the park, occasionally Pokémon would be curious about the outside world. Lu Sheng can't help but sigh with emotion that the Pokémon Park is too small, they can easily get bored. 10 minutes passed and most of the Pokémon arrived. Lu Sheng also called Pikachu and Charmander to call down some guys who were lingering on the mountain, and the breeder began to feed the evolution fluid. Ah, open your mouth. Obviously open your mouth. Zhou Churan and Lu Sheng also joined the ranks. Each Pokémon comes with a vial in the mouth. Originally, Lu Sheng planned to get a bucket for them to drink, which could save manpower and material resources. However, considering that there is no experiment yet, and I don't know if a bottle is enough, it is better to try a wave before it is officially sold. Don't because the wait is not enough, the probability of Pokémon evolution is 0, it would be too embarrassing. Pokémon were fed one by one, and each one was relatively well behaved and trusted the breeder very much. Occasionally encounter a skinny guy, knocking on the head, but still reluctant to drink. Charmander, Xiaogai, Mianmian, etc. are impressively listed. They are also a month old and are relatively close to Lu Sheng. Intimacy also affects evolutionary odds, according to molting fossils. Mr. Lu, there is a situation here. Lu Sheng heard a cry, looked up, and suddenly saw a Squirtle growing in size. 2 wing-like ears grew on the bald head, the fangs in the mouth became longer, and the tail of the big wave spread. Wartortle. Lu Sheng's eyelids jumped, and he didn't expect the first successful Pokémon to be a member of the Fire Brigade. A total of 20 members of the Fire Brigade, they have been specially trained by the little boys all day, and they are more disciplined and have a higher skill level than the rest of the Squirtle. Mr. Lu, darling. Lu Sheng heard Zhou Churan's growl again, and looked at the little girl at his feet. Only then did she realize that Xiaojiao was staring at Wartortle, and her body also changed. Lu Sheng wondered if the odds were high, and two came out at once. The little girl just fed it, but there was no response. Why did it suddenly work again? External environmental factors. Lu Sheng couldn't help guessing whether Xiaoguo was not convinced when he saw the evolution of his former little brother, and greatly stimulated it, so the evolution liquid took effect. In any case, at least it proves that this amount of evolutionary fluid is enough. Anti-inflammatory. Zhou Churan exclaimed again. Xiaoyan, Charmander's name, is a homonym of the protagonist of a novel. Yan also represents fire, so it becomes anti-inflammatory. Zhou Churan expressed his dissatisfaction with the name and felt that the name Lu Sheng was too childish. Lu Sheng was wondering, turned back to look at Charmander, and was immediately stunned. Charmander's whole body began to change. Lu Sheng shouted 3 times in his heart, because he saw the evolution of his good brother, Xiaogai, so he also evolved. 3 Pokémon in a row successfully evolved, and everyone was surprised and delighted. There is a camera on the side recording all this, and when the time comes to sell the evolution fluid, it will be used as a reference. 2 Wartortles, 1 Charmeleon. Lu Sheng thought about going back and giving Xiaoyanfu an advanced pill. Wouldn't he be able to have a Charizard soon? Only 1 Pichu evolved into Pikachu after feeding evolution fluid, but not Mianmian. That Pichu has a very good relationship with a female breeder in the park. If the female breeder feeds other Pichus, it will be jealous and sulking. Lu Sheng didn't expect it to be advanced, not Mianmian. Seeing the evolution of his companions, he was curious and discouraged, and hid aside in dejection. Mr. Lu, look at Mianmian. Zhou Churan quietly pushed Lu Sheng with his elbow. I'm going to comfort it, little things may not feel good. Lu Sheng smiled and came under the tree. Mianmian glanced at it listlessly, and continued to sit with his back against the big tree. Don't be discouraged, if you haven't evolved now, you may not be able to evolve in the future. Lu Sheng touched Mianmian's little head and said softly, besides, it doesn't have to evolve to become stronger. I believe that you won't be weaker than Pikachu in a fight with Pikachu now. Yeah. Mianmian gestured twice with her short hand, still not very happy. Lu Sheng hesitated whether to give Mianmian an advanced pill, so that Mianmian would evolve 100%. The idea just popped up, immediately pressed by Lu Sheng. If you help Mianmian evolve now, it is not necessarily good for Mianmian. Lu Sheng hopes that Mianmian can be strong. Pokémon is not about evolving as fast as possible, in reality is not a game. If in the game, Pokémon is just a string of data, evolution will definitely become stronger. Now, Pokémon are living creatures. They have unique personalities, can think independently, and have ideas. Don't be sad, I'll prepare something for you later. Zhou Churan also leaned over, gently hugged Mianmian, and comforted in a low voice. A few minutes later, Mianmian recovered her spirits, and with the encouragement of Zhou Churan, she regained her strength. You still have a way. Lu Sheng watched Mianmian reintegrate into the Pichu community, and sighed, actually, I have a way to make it evolve 100%, but I don't want to pull the seedlings out to help it grow. Look at Gigi, it's getting more and more outrageous recently, and he always likes to mess around with the little guy. Zhou Churan burst into a smile. What are you laughing at? Lu Sheng wondered. Well, I think Mr. Lu was like my dad just now. He likes to talk about my brother the most. Zhou Churan couldn't help laughing. Lu Sheng opened his mouth, looked back and thought, it was indeed a bit similar. In the past, my grandfather often used this tone to reprimand himself. Pack up the things, this experiment has some results. Lu Sheng pondered. According to the probability, it is not high. Today, it is more unexpected, and there are 2 special cases, Xiaojiao and Xiaoyan. Well, you can use today's events as a reference. When Pokémon sees the evolution of the same kind, it will increase the probability of evolution. That's right, if they were put in isolation suits, they might not have the effect they have today. Zhou Churan agreed. In the afternoon, Lu Sheng personally went to the fire brigade to send Xiao Pinlong to the Squirtle Fire Brigade. Xiao Pinlong and others have been waiting for a long time. Lu Sheng's car was in front, followed by 2 long model vans. Coming. Xiao Pinlong and others were full of expectations. Finally, the Squirtle Squad is officially in service. They have been looking forward to it for a long time. In the past few days, fire officers and soldiers have been asking Xiao Pinlong when Squirtle will arrive, which has always annoyed Xiao Pinlong. Captain Xiao. Lu Sheng got out of the car first and nodded. Hello Mr. Lu, is the Squirtle team behind? Yes, look at you. Lu Sheng smiled, went to the back, opened the doors of the two vans, and clapped his hands. Jenny. Jenny. Xiao Pinlong and others heard a familiar voice again. Da da da. One blue figure got down from the van. They were neatly lined up, wearing sunglasses and smiling naively on their faces. Ha ha. It is good. Some people laughed and others applauded excitedly. Squirtle is arranged in 2 rows. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. Hey, why is there one missing in the first row? Xiao Pinlong was surprised and probed into the first van to check. Lu Sheng laughed without saying a word. The only thing left is a surprise for them. When Xiao Pinlong probed, the van in front got up and down, a big turtle with a bigger head and a special appearance, and the skin color was a little different. Cammy. The big bald head raised his chest. It's Wartortle. Mr. Lu, this is. Everyone is not stupid, you can see that it is related to Squirtle at a glance, and it is so unique that it must be more powerful than Squirtle. Look at the appearance, there are a pair of ears, and the tail is also good looking. Wartortle, the evolution of Squirtle. Lu Sheng explained. This morning, I gave the Squirtle Squad an evolution fluid, and luckily, one of the Squirtle evolved into a Wartortle. In fact, Lu Sheng can keep the Wartortle and replace it with a Squirtle, but it will take a while to train, so it is better to sell it to the fire brigade for a cheap price. Wartortle. Squirtle evolves, isn't it better? It seems like the first time I heard. Wartortle. Shouldn't it be the first in the world? Fire officers and soldiers have discussed this time, looking up and down Wartortle. Xiao Pinlong said suspiciously, Mr. Lu, don't you need to pay more? No, you have already trained them, you are lucky. Lu Sheng said. It is indeed the first evolved Squirtle, but Wartortle is not the only one at present. After Squirtle evolves, it will have stronger abilities, and the amount of water spout will also be larger. Captain Xiao, I am a surprise. How? Very good. Xiao Pinlong nodded again and couldn't help touching Wartortle's bald head, wanting to compare the feel with Squirtle's bald head. He could be the captain of the Squirtle Squad later on. Lu Sheng said. They can still carry out in-depth training. Captain Xiao can refer to our company's wait and see, and there are training materials on it. Captain Xiao can review the Squirtle team. I guarantee that their discipline is good enough and their ability to put out fires is good enough. If it is top-notch. Haha, I'm ready. Xiao Pinlong took everyone to the square where he usually trains, where enough flammable objects have been erected. We'll see what the Squirtle Squad can do later. Ignition. With Xiao Pinlong's order, a total of 8 piles of flammable objects were burned. If there is a real fire, it must be bigger than it is now. But the 8 piles of burning objects have been specially treated, so they are not so easy to be wiped out. Mr. Lu, let them start putting out the fire. Xiao Pinlong nodded to Lu Sheng after seeing the fire raging. However, Lu Sheng said, Captain Xiao, have you forgotten? The Squirtle Squad is now under the management of your fire brigade, you can give an order. Confused. Xiao Pinlong laughed, pointed at the fire in front of him in high spirits, and said solemnly, Squirtle team, dispatch. Extinguishing. With an order, a special fire brigade headed by Wartortle went into action. The blue figure swayed in front of them, and the water column spewed. Slam la. Hot and dry square temperature drop force. 8 large fires, thick smoke billowing. After special treatment, it is not too easy to be doused by someone. The last fire was poured with oil. Oil fires cannot be extinguished with water, and the fire will be expanded due to watering. Because oil floats on the surface of water. Xiao Pinlong deliberately did something to test Squirtle's intelligence. This was Xiao Pinlong's act on a whim, and he didn't talk to Lu Sheng in advance. If Pokémon had trained Squirtle in this area, Squirtle would have noticed this. Without training. Of course, Xiao Pinlong will not criticize, but he will pay more attention and strengthen the popularization of this knowledge point for Squirtle in the future. See if Squirtle is really that smart enough to discern something that can't be quenched with water. Wartortle and Squirtle used 787 water spray to suppress the fire ahead. The flaming flames are really hard to suppress. They lose some energy and cooperate with each other. Several are divided into groups, and they are extinguished together. Soon, the fire is not as fierce as before. It looks good. I feel that they are more powerful than the fire truck. Hey, flexibility is the key. Squirtle is really smart and works with each other. Not bad. Fire officers and soldiers gave unanimous praise. Lu Sheng nodded in satisfaction and said, Captain Xiao, how is it? Not bad, but. Xiao Pinlong paused, noticed that Squirtle was pouring water on the fire sprinkled with oil, and said proudly, but, they don't seem to know that oil can't be put out with water. Oil. Lu Sheng suddenly realized, no wonder he smelled a pungent smell just now, and thought it was some kind of burning plastic product. Captain Xiao looks very cunning. Lu Sheng shook his head helplessly. It looks like the Squirtle team is about to collapse as soon as they debut. During this period of training, I only did coaching in discipline and cooperation, but I did not teach the Squirtle team to identify the burning scene. If you train Squirtle for fire brigades in other regions in the future, you need to pay attention to this. Lu Sheng thought silently that Xiao Pinlong had taught him a lesson. The remaining 7 fires gradually minimized, but the last fire was irrigated with water, causing the fire to expand. Jenny. Squirtle, who was in charge of putting out the fire, scratched his head, bewildered. How can I not train like Mikey? The fire didn't cut much. Kami. Wartortle saw the difference keenly, his nose twitched. Suddenly, Wartortle waved his arm, signaling Waterspouts Squirtle to step back. Jenny. Kami. Wartortle communicates with companions. After they stepped back, Wartortle opened his mouth, and a cold light condensed in Wartortle's mouth. Swish. The cold-colored light quickly shot onto the 8th fire, and when it touched the water surface, it quickly spread around with that point as the center. The water is frozen. The icing area continues to expand. Wartortle moved his head, and the 8th fire was rapidly freezing. Wherever he went, the flames went out. A few Squirtles in the back saw this, water spout again, and expanded the icy area with Wartortle. Freezing rays. Lu Sheng's eyes widened. How could he not recognize the moves Wartortle made? It is the freezing light of the ice type that can freeze quickly, and if it encounters liquid, it can form a large area of ice. It is true that water cannot destroy oil, but freezing can block oil and put out fire directly. Wartortle didn't show the slightest bit of freezing light before, and suddenly used it. It was a move that he learned by himself after evolution. It is also possible that before it evolved, it had already realized something. Anyway, whenever he learned it, Wartortle suddenly made this move, which exceeded Lu Sheng's expectations and surprised Xiao Pinlong and others. Turtle, what is this trick called? Ruthless. This move, combined with water spout, can quickly put out the fire. Can be used as trump card. Wartortle is awesome. All the fire officers and soldiers looked dumbfounded. This is a mega ability that the fire truck does not have. Not to mention that it is used to put out fires, to fight, and not to freeze people into popsicles. In summer, you can also rely on it to eat iced watermelon. It is good. Xiao Pinlong laughed and said, Mr. Lu, it's really yours, and you have cultivated a magical genetic creature quietly. No, a magical Pokémon, haha, it is not an honor to be called a Pokémon. The rest strongly agree. A piece of cake 0. Although Lu Sheng was surprised, he remained calm. Outsiders don't know that they think it's all under his control. Mr. Lu, what is this trick called? Quick freezing, tisk, I've never seen other genetic creatures use it. Xiao Pinlong was very emotional and opened his eyes again. Freezing rays. Lu Sheng's eyes narrowed slightly. It seems that Wartortle is not very skilled in using it, and it has been a little difficult to use it for a while. Even so, it was enough to put out an oil-splashed fire rack. Freezing rays. Xiao Pinlong praised. The name is good, and it can be of great use in the future. I wanted to set up a difficult problem for the Squirtle team, but how could Wartortle be defeated by one move? Xiao Pinlong was speechless in his heart. This would have no educational effect. The whole process of putting out the fire just now was recorded, and I sent it back to the comrades in other regions to make them jealous, hehe. Xiao Pinlong said. Lu Sheng smiled and said, Squirtle and Wartortle have other moves. I hope Captain Xiao can do more training in the future besides firefighting. Of course, I'll treat them like babies. No, kids, haha. The prices aren't cheap, and the Squirtle is a delight. Xiao Pinlong regretted that he didn't buy one more along with the purchase. The price was so cheap at the time. It was quite cool to buy one and take it with him every day. He was a little embarrassed to speak now. I purchased multiple pieces for the fire brigade at one time, so I asked Lu Sheng for the lowest price. If you want 2.0, it is a separate purchase, so why not bargain? All the fires in the square were put out. The fire brigade is very satisfied with the Squirtle team, and the balance will be paid as soon as possible. Before leaving, Lu Sheng parted with the Squirtle team. You have to be obedient, and I will come to see you when I have time in the future. Lu Sheng touches each Squirtle and says goodbye to them one by one. Cammy. They are also reluctant to bear Lu Sheng. The Squirtle team watched Lu Sheng's car go away and was officially incorporated into the Yunhai Fire Brigade, becoming a unique team. When the Fire Brigade Weibo announced the news, the comment area was full of cheers and heated discussions. There is also no doubt about, can human life really be entrusted to a non-human species? The first batch of Squirtle has officially shipped. After Lu Sheng returned from the Fire Brigade, he took a look around with the Pokémon monitor. A small amount of Squirtle had already been delivered to the buyer in Yunhai City, and the rest was still on the way. The Fire Brigade has made public the news on Weibo, and Lu Sheng glanced at it for a while, and for some people questioned whether Squirtle could take on such a big job. Lu Sheng thinks this is human nature. It is normal to be able to arouse discussion, and it would be strange if all of them support it one-sidedly. Everyone has to slowly get used to new things and accept them subtly. The firefighting genetics have not been seen before, so the Squirtle squad will be distrusted. After many years, people will slowly accept this, and there may be more than one fire team in Squirtle. The new technology Henry is working on can rapidly catalyze the synthesis of water molecules from hydrogen and oxygen atoms, which may be used in the future. So Lu Sheng believes that there will be more and more special fire brigade in the future. As for whether there will be competition, there will certainly be. Lu Sheng believes that Pokémon has more advantages. You can use Water Spout, Wartortle, Squirtle and Freeze Rays. In the morning, Lu Sheng let all 04 Pokémon take evolution fluid at Pokémon Paradise, and filmed the whole process. Evolution fluid is about to be sold online, and the Pokémon company will release a video that night. Once the video is uploaded, it can still quickly occupy the click list and become a hot topic tonight. What a miraculous evolution fluid, hehe, I just bought Pichu and want to try it out. Don't know if evolution fluid works for genetic creatures. I want to try it. Are you stupid? It must be ineffective. To be effective, I will buy a bottle to drink, maybe I can evolve into a Mega Saiyan. Evolved 4 at a time. What is the name of Squirtle after evolution, and that unique Charmander? On the one hand, everyone lamented the magic of evolution fluid, and on the other hand, they were curious about Wartortle and Charmeleon. Two new Pokémons that have evolved successfully. It seems that compared to the previous small head, the stature after evolution has increased significantly. Lu Sheng's use of evolutionary gene technology has been superb, and it seems that every Pokémon is indeed endowed with evolutionary abilities. A creature designer said so. Therefore, only one Pichu has successfully evolved before, and the rest of the evolved Pokémon have never been seen. The outside world can't help but wonder if only Pichu Gigi is special. Maybe Lu Sheng didn't master the evolutionary gene technology, it was just an accidental mutation. Now there are more Wartortle and Charmeleon, everyone believes that Lu Sheng really mastered the skill of changing doors, and it was no accident that time. According to outside speculation, the evolved Pokémon will have more powerful abilities. Derivation can only be made after evolving from Pichu to Pikachu. Everyone is more curious about the abilities of Wartortle and Charmeleon. The Yunhai City Fire Brigade had seen the freezing light of Wartortle. But they only showed off to the Fire Brigade in the rest of the region, and they didn't spread online, so it remains a mystery. After a night of warm-up, the evolution liquid was launched on the e-commerce website the next day, and the first batch of inventory was immediately sold out. The employees of the Pokémon company feel baffled. They have already claimed that it only works for the company's Pokémon. Why are so many people snapping up? There aren't many Pokémon out there right now, and they estimate that they can sell a few hundred bottles, which should be pretty good. However, the first batch of 30,000 bottles was online for 1 hour and emptied. The price of a bottle is $18.88, the capacity is less than 10 milliliters. Arguably more expensive than many perfumes. How can one get off one by one? The employees couldn't understand their mindset. And after reviewing the shipping addresses and profiles submitted, it turns out that not everyone owns a Pokémon. There are not a few buyers from Daxia, and there are even a few addresses that fill in a foreign laboratory. When Lu Sheng heard the news, he smiled and said, "It seems that our evolution fluid is very popular, bringing in more than 50 million yuan in 1 hour, so you can make money lying down." Mr. Lu, what about the cost? Huang Xiaoyu was curious about the cost of the evolution fluid. She only knew that distilled water was prepared during the whole process. Very low. Lu Sheng is very aware of the inside story. Putting the sloughed fossils into the water will cost a little bit of distilled water and bottle packaging. Mr. Lu, do you think they bought it back for research? Huang Xiaoyu was a little worried. What if the evolution fluid is researched and some key information is copied later? If they can crack it, that's their talent. Lu Sheng is not too sure. After all, he has not tested. One thing is certain, if others have developed evolutionary fluid, can it be used by other genetic organisms? This is an important reason why Lu Sheng is not worried. Evolution fluids can only be used by Pokémon. It's not all researchers here. Lu Sheng shook his head and smiled. There should be many people who want to try their genetic creatures, although we have already stated that it cannot be used, they still want to try, and they are lucky. Huang Xiaoyu pursed his lips. I really don't understand the psychology of some people. Lu Sheng rubbed 787's chin and said meaningfully, perhaps, in the future, we can let people privately spread the successful example of the evolution of certain genetic organisms, and do not use the official identity, which can greatly promote the sales of evolution fluid. Is this okay? Huang Xiaoyu felt that Lu Sheng was too cunning. Anyway, the invalidity after buying it back has nothing to do with the company, it is just a private rumor. After others see the rumors, they will think what if it is really effective, spend 1888 to try it. Why not? Lu Sheng said. Go back and arrange people to be careful, just take advantage of the first batch of goods to go out and create 1 or 2 special cases. Anyway, online is false, and it is not illegal. Okay. Huang Xiaoyu wrote down silently, even more convinced of Lu Sheng's treacherousness. Most of the orders of evolution fluid are paid at the first time. There are also many buyers in Yunhai City. I place an order in the morning, and it will be delivered by the courier company 2 hours later. Among the buyers who placed the order were Hobbs of Northumbria Group, Miaolina of Powerful Company, and other researchers. Their purpose is very simple. After they get the evolution fluid, they will start testing, and they may be able to spy on some of the mysteries of genetic technology in the evolution fluid. No matter how bad it is, deduce the formula of the evolution liquid, and it may be possible to imitate it according to this idea in the future. The Northam Group spends a lot of scientific research expenses every year in the world, among which the research expenses of the Longtang Kingdom branch are low level and have been ignored. Hobbs ordered someone to buy evolution fluid from Pokémon this morning, and used 10 accounts to buy them separately and send them to 10 places. The first evolution fluid has arrived at the location. After Hobbs received the news, he immediately ordered someone to be sent to his subordinate laboratory for testing. Like most people, Hobbs wants to find out the secrets of the evolution fluid, and the ingredients in the evolution fluid deduce the key to the evolutionary gene of Pokémon. If it can be done, this is a great achievement. 10 points of evolution fluid will send 5 copies to the headquarters. Hobbs hopes to find some clues during this period. The last time he didn't get things done, Hobbs got blamed by his boss and accused him of being out of his mind. If you don't take the initiative to taunt Lu Sheng, there may be a chance to negotiate, but now Lu Sheng refuses to communicate with anyone in the Northern Group. Hobbs, miserable, turned all the blame on Fern. Fern was miserable. He was fired after returning. No matter how he explained it, he became a scapegoat anyway. Compared with Fern, Hobbs is obviously more important. He is familiar with everything in the Dragon Kingdom branch, but he cannot be dismissed. Hope to see results soon. Hobbs rushed to the laboratory himself. When I saw the researcher, I asked how the inspection result was, and the other party told me that I had just sent it in and I needed to wait and see. Hobbs didn't stop, and went inside to meet the head of the lab, a white supervisor named Peter. Peter used to be a top student in an international university. He offended his boss because of his unpleasant personality. Now he is sent to the Dragon Kingdom branch. He was watching carefully, taking a drop from time to time, adding a certain chemical, and doing some tests. Hobbs was in a hurry and wanted to ask, but when he saw Peter glance at him, he lowered his head in thought, stopped his words and quietly exited the laboratory. Don't bother Peter, he has a hot temper. Otherwise, he won't be dispatched here. He's not weak, he has advanced degrees in biology and chemistry. Hobbs thought, and had high hopes for Peter. After waiting for half an hour, Peter came out of the laboratory, frowning. How about it? Hobbs asked expectantly. Not so good. Peter still seems to be immersed in the test just now, and his soul is still alive. Hobbs frowned and said softly, what's not so good, what's the result? Peter regained his senses and sighed. To be honest, I don't know what substance was added to it. I only know that the evolution fluid has the effect of making cells more active, and it seems that it can speed up metabolism. So? Hobbs asked. Peter sighed. There are several kinds of microelements in it. At present, we haven't measured which ones, and we can't find any that meet the conditions. Hobbs pondered for a moment, then said helplessly, it seems that we can only wait for what the headquarters has to say. Peter pouted, thinking that his skills have already been calculated, and it is difficult for others to make breakthroughs. At the same time, Meow Lena also got a copy of the evolution fluid and was burying herself in the analysis. Ji Li was waiting outside for a long time. It's useless, completely useless. Meow Lena threw the tools on the table and said decadently, I can't find the corresponding substance, what is it? Why can it stimulate the evolution of Pokémon, but it can be placed on genetic biological cells, but it has no effect? Ji Li heard the movement, came in from outside, and couldn't wait to ask, Lena, how is it? Is there a result? Meow Lena said blankly, it can be said that there is a result, or it can be said that there is no result. I don't know how Lu Sheng did it, let alone deduce how Pokémon evolves, he is too strong. Ji Li's face sank. It seems that the plan to start with evolutionary fluid is about to be dashed. Try again, maybe you can find some clues. I believe you. Ji Li encouraged him and walked out of the laboratory. If I could get a Pichu or Squirtle to study, maybe. His eyelids were half closed, and the thoughts he once had were uncontrollably beating. The first batch of research labs in Yunhai City to get the evolution fluid almost immediately devoted their energy to testing. All ended in failure. The conventional method is used once, and even the ingredients in it cannot be identified, let alone the derivation of the formula and imitation. Don't even think about exploring evolutionary gene technology, the possibility is zero. After arranging the delivery of the goods, Lu Sheng came to the number 2 laboratory to prepare the breeder cones. 3 days have passed since the meteorite incident. At this time, take out the cone gene, and everything will be a matter of course. After stepping into the laboratory, Lu Sheng still took out the small black bottle that was concealed from the public. Mr. Lu, have you designed a new species? It is not surprising that Zhou Churan and others are used to it. Yes, but this time it's a brand new plant. Go get some plant cells and put them in the culture tank. Well, one culture tank for nutrient solution, and the other for something else. Lu Sheng doesn't know if it was just put in the culture medium or in meteorite water. If it was meteorite water, the cost would be too low. Plant. Zhou Churan was stunned. After half an hour, Lu Sheng in front of the oversized culture tank in the breeder room. There are 2 culture tanks in front, one is filled with culture medium and the other is filled with a bucket of meteorite water. Because it was the first attempt, Lu Sheng thought that the plant seed breeder should not cost too much, so he injected hundreds of cone genes into the 2 cultivation tanks. When Lu Sheng edited the cone tree genes, he increased the frequency and number of results, and the growth rate Zhao Chenjiao was also greatly improved, while the rest of the genes were relatively balanced. The first cones tried it first. As for the shape of the fruit, it is spherical with red markings on the surface, which is quite different from the Pokeball paper. Lu Sheng did not ask Zhou Churan and others to come in, but observed the situation in the cultivation tank by himself. After all, Lu Sheng has learned some skills more or less after operating for a long time. Both breeder methods are possible. But the seeds in the culture medium are slower to develop, and the growth rate in the meteorite water is very fast. Lu Sheng's eyelids jumped. According to the observed data, it can grow into cone seeds within 2 or 3 days. Planting seems to be able to be arranged as soon as possible. Lu Sheng is fortunate to have contracted the zoo before, and the first batch of cones can be planted in the park. There are many places on the hill that are deserted and could be used to grow cones. Some of the plants that occupy the land can also be cut down. Within 2 days, the seeds of the cones placed in the meteorite water were fully developed and showed signs of germination. Originally, Lu Sheng was going to put it in it to continue the breeder, but it was found that a few of them were dead. He suddenly understood that he had to take it out and plant it. In meteorite water, without sunlight and air, it is difficult to survive. On the same day, Lu Sheng transported the seeds to Pokémon Paradise, and asked them to encircle a plot of land on the mountain for planting. In the past 2 days, Lu Sheng has been fully prepared on the mountain, and the planting is relatively smooth. After that, you only need to water it every day. Lu Sheng took 2 pieces of meteorite, placed them in the cistern in Paradise, and mixed them with some ordinary stones. The system does not prompt how many times to water each day, and Lu Sheng needs to try again and again. Therefore, Lu Sheng divided 3 areas. In one area, the seeds of cones were watered once a day, in one area, watered twice in the morning and evening, and 3 times in the morning, afternoon, and evening in one area. The seeds of the cones grew faster than Lu Sheng imagined. After planting, they were only watered for 1 day, and the next day they had grown into saplings with a height of 10 centimeters. According to the comparison of different watering times, it is amazing that 787 is more effective to water 3 times a day. Lu Sheng tried again, increasing the 3 to 4, 5. After a few days, I basically figured out the law, 4 times a day is the best. The cones grow almost every day, and the employees in the garden know that this is not an ordinary sapling seed. They guessed that it might be a genetic plant, otherwise the growth rate could not be so fast. Genetic organisms are also divided into plants and animals. It's not that there are no genetically engineered plants that grow extremely fast, they've also heard of it. However, it is relatively rare to grow like a cone tree, and they have probably heard of several. Most of those plants are grown in deserts, they grow very fast, and have a very strong drought-tolerant attribute. However, their lifespan is relatively short, from seed development to mature body, and then to withering, it may only be 3 or 5 months before and after. Rapid growth uses up the plant's life potential early. The staff can't help but wonder if the cone tree has the same characteristics. During the period when the cones are planted, the dice in the system interface have been cooled down. This night, Lu Sheng bathes and cleanses his body before rolling the dice. Euphemistically speaking, he washes away bad luck from the whole body. After coming out of the bathroom, he couldn't wait to open the system interface, begging for the blessing of the goddess of luck in his heart, and then click the fling dice. The dice roll. The final number, 4, is towards Lu Sheng. Not only that, but a prompt pops up in the interface. Congratulations to the host for triggering the lucky mechanism, the points are doubled. Lu Sheng jumped up from the bed and laughed loudly. Haha, tonight Oh Huang is possessed, 4 becomes 8. That is, Lu Sheng can then unlock 8 Pokémon at once. There are at most 4 kinds at a time in the front, which is not enjoyable at all. Lu Sheng always needs to think carefully and choose slowly. The dice entered the cooling time, and the number of points in the interface did jump and became 8. Unlock Totodile, Cyndaquil, Chikorita first. Lu Sheng searched quickly, found 3 Pokémon, and unlocked them without hesitation. During this period, the lucky mechanism is triggered, and a molting fossil is obtained again. Next is Snivy. When Snivy continues to be unlocked, the system pops up a prompt again. Congratulations to the host AECA for unlocking 15 kinds of Pokémon, automatically unlocking tree fruit genes, and editing to obtain different tree fruit. Lu Sheng clicked on the plant Pokédex on the right side of Pokémon, and sure enough, there was an extra column of tree fruit under the cone tree. In the Pokémon world, tree fruit is a favorite food of Pokémon, and can also be eaten by humans. Some tree fruit can relieve special contest condition, such as chili cherry fruit can relieve paralysis contest condition. Tree fruit has various forms and can also be used to make energy blocks. Long-term use of Pokémon can improve the value of various aspects. Lu Sheng took a look at the tree fruit and found that the tree fruit is just a general term, and the tree fruit gene can be edited to obtain different types of tree fruit, such as spicy cherry fruit, sweet peach fruit, blue-orange fruit. This is equivalent to unlocking all the fruit at the same time. Lu Sheng said to himself, it seems that a large area of plantation will be contracted in the future, otherwise there will be nowhere to plant so many kinds of fruit trees. There are not many Pokémons at the moment, so there is not much demand. It's hard to say in the future. Go ahead and unlock Pokémon. Igglybuff, Pidgey. Choose 2 more. Igglybuff can evolve into Wigglytuff, which is very soft before and after evolution. Pidgey has a flying-like Pokémon that can eventually evolve into a figurine. Lu Sheng suddenly had only 2 points left, and began to pick and choose. There is no Pokémon in the ocean, choose Whalmer, Lapras. Whalmer can evolve into a king roaring whale, but, there doesn't seem to be a place for it at the moment. Forget it, put these 2 in the back first, there is only 1 lotus pond in the park, and raising Magikarp is almost the same. Although Magikarp is a little weak, if it can evolve into Gyarados. So Lu Sheng chose to unlock Magikarp. For the last spot, Lu Sheng chose Caterpie. Caterpie can be said to be very suitable for novice breeding, their growth cycle is very short. It can evolve into Metapod very quickly, and it only takes a week or 2 to evolve from Metapod to Butterfree. Magikarp and Caterpie are 2 extremes. One is extremely difficult to evolve from a fish to Gyarados, and the other is very easy to evolve from a worm to Butterfree. Unlock 8 types of Pokémon in one go. Lu Sheng rest as a dream come true at night. In the dream, Pokémon surrounds, soaring in the sky, in the ocean, on the ground, and the beasts roar. Lu Sheng turned his head and saw Arceus behind Tilda. Broken dreams. It was the next morning when I woke up again. As soon as Lu Sheng opened his eyes, his chest was heavy. Wartortle, don't you know you've gained a lot of weight? Don't you know how much your turtle shell weighs? His whole popularity is boring. Others are woken up by their girlfriends. I wake up with a big turtle every day, or Charmeleon, Pikachu, so sad. Cammy. Wartortle called to yawn, rolling over and continuing to sleep. Lu Sheng kicked Wartortle out of bed, looked at the time, it was already early 9 o'clock. What Tilda? Mew floats in from outside the window. It seems that he went out to play in the early morning. Lu Sheng doesn't worry about Mew being discovered, it can remain invisible and no one can see it. Pikachu, Charmeleon, all awake. Lu Sheng went to the bathroom to wash, and when he went to get his toothbrush, he found that there was an extra toothbrush in it. He didn't return to his senses for a while, picked up one of the toothbrushes and looked at it, there were 2 small eyeballs on the back. Ditto. I threw the toothbrush on the ground, and sure enough, the toothbrush was transformed and Ditto transformed. Lu Sheng glared, Ditto grinned, and hopped out of the bathroom. Wake up every morning surrounded by Pokémon. His thoughts went back to a few months ago, when he had not been reborn and was still a small white-collar worker. Now, magical enough. During the wash, Pikachu, Charmeleon, etc. also came to the bathroom one by one. Lu Sheng prepared a towel for them, and everyone washed their face with some water, or sipped their mouths. Pick up, pick up. Gigi patted her belly, complaining that Lu Sheng woke up late and was hungry. Aren't you going to find anti-inflammatory food? Lu Sheng went to the kitchen to get a frying pan, and gave them a few eggs, exhorting, anti-inflammatory, fry a few eggs, don't burn like yesterday, and control the heat. Who? Charmeleon picked up the pan and went outside. Pikachu, Squirtle, and Ditto, each with an egg, left happily. Hey, don't eat my portion. Lu Sheng started cutting bread and pouring milk. Mew lay on his shoulders, looking carefully. Do you know where Hoot Hoot went? Lu Sheng asked strangely that he didn't see Hoot Hoot in the house. Mew points out. Are you outside? Lu Sheng stuffed a slice of bread into his mouth and gave Mew half a slice. Mew held it in both hands and chewed. When I came to the window, I did see a strange color in the courtyard. Hoot Hoot was pacing on the grass. Every now and then, he would peck at the ground like a chick. It turned out to be early to eat. On the other side of the open space, Pikachu, Wartortle, Charmeleon and Ditto gathered around, beat all the eggs in the pan, and then Charmeleon simmered the eggs. Say. Lu Sheng turned his head and asked Mew, don't you know other Pokemon moves? Why haven't I seen you use them before? Mew tilted his head, opened his mouth, spit up a fire. Lu Sheng was startled and almost burned his hair and eyebrows. Mew floated in midair, rolling happily. Lu Sheng only stayed in the company in the morning to deal with yesterday's affairs. The culture tanks of laboratories number 1 and number 2 are currently full, and the next batch will have to wait 2 or 3 days. Mr. Lu, this is the plan given by the engineering team, take a look. Huang Xiaoyu held a document in his hand and put it in front of Lu Sheng. The first page of the document reads, Pokemon Company's number 2 Laboratory Expansion Plan, and the bottom is densely packed with small characters, divided into several parts, and the order is relatively clear. A few days ago, Lu Sheng felt that the laboratory was not enough, and planned to expand the number 2 and number 1 laboratories. The number 1 laboratory is located in a relatively prosperous road section. If it is expanded, the surrounding land needs to be purchased, and the cost is very large. Laboratory number 2 is not the case, because in the suburbs, the surrounding land is cheap. Extending to the east, the land still belongs to the city government. It used to be the location of the regional police station, but it was moved to another place, and it is now full of sundries. After Lu Sheng discussed the matter with Secretary Wen quickly communicated with the director and decided that the land would be leased to Lu Sheng, which could be developed by Lu Sheng. Of course, the price is a lot cheaper, but according to the rules, the money should not be less than a cent. Also, that piece of land cannot be used to build civilian houses, it must be a laboratory. Otherwise, the municipal government has the right to recycle. This condition is mainly to prevent Lu Sheng from abusing his private power and cheating from the city government to the land to do other things in order to make a profit. At present, all the things of the old police station have been removed. Lu Sheng intends to connect the number 2 laboratory with the land to the east and make changes on the basis of the original building. If the expansion is completed, the area will be more than doubled. Lu Sheng turned over and frowned. Why haven't security measures been taken into account? Let them change it later. Okay. Huang Xiaoyu put away the plan and suddenly said, Mr. Lu, didn't you tell me to keep an eye on whether there is any news about meteorite on the internet? It seems that a foreign researcher published an article early this morning. After the last meteorite incident in Yunhai City, Lu Sheng mentioned to Huang Xiaoyu at this time, asking her to pay attention at any time and to notify in time if there is any news. Lu Sheng didn't have the energy to browse the internet all the time, so he gave her the little things. After so many days, Lu Sheng almost forgot about it, but Huang Xiaoyu brought it up at this moment. Yes. Lu Sheng searched the internet and did find some news. It seems that the heat of the discussion is not low. Mr. Lu. Huang Xiaoyu hesitated, because she had read the article. The speciality of meteorite is mentioned in it, but Lu Sheng let her pay attention early, obviously knowing some information in advance. And a few days ago, Lu Sheng asked Huang Xiaoyu to quietly acquire meteorite in private. Depending on the meteorite weight, it can range from thousands to tens of thousands. Lu Sheng took a quick look at that article, and it's not unusual for a gringo to get meteorite. At that time, meteorite landed in Yunhai City. After Lu Sheng asked Huang Xiaoyu to recover meteorite, he recovered dozens of pieces. There must be a lot of meteorite left out there, and it's no surprise that Gringo got some. The foreign experts who published the article claim that there is some kind of space-distorting power in meteorite. Just the word, space, is enough to cause uproar on the internet. They have tried many methods, but they finally used the stupidest method, that is, soaking in water to extract the power of distorting space. Despite this, they could not use it, experimented many times, and had to give up. Now that the results are made public, it is hoped that researchers from all over the world can study together and brainstorm ideas. After reading the article, Lu Sheng felt nothing in his heart. Meteorite soaking in water is really too easy, this day was expected. Maybe some researchers have discovered it a few days ago, but they have not brought it up, and they are all doing private research. Everyone wants to use the power of space in meteorite, everyone wants to become famous. At present, except for Lu Sheng, no one should be able to use meteorite. That's fine. When Pokeball comes out, it's more reasonable to just mention meteorite water. Lu Sheng thought about power. There have been many external comments about meteorite. Some people think that if the power of space contained in meteorite can be studied, human technology will be improved to a higher level. Some people are also thinking about the origin of meteorite, perhaps from a certain advanced civilization. Alien conspiracy theories take off. As the initiator, Lu Sheng is still in the company. The batch of evolution fluid that was purchased last time, with the exception of Lu Sheng's private publicity, did not see any successful evolution of Pokémon. According to some of Lu Sheng's return visits, most Pichu and Squirtle owners said they would have to wait a while. There are instructions for use in the packaging of the evolution liquid, and it is mentioned that the best time is when the intimacy of each other has reached a certain level. The older the Pokémon, the more skilled the mastery, the better. All kinds of things will affect the progress. Although the buyer is not short of money, but after careful consideration, he still chooses 787 to choose Quash. They don't doubt the role of the evolution fluid. First, there is previous video evidence, and secondly, the reputation of the Pokémon Company is beyond doubt. As the first and second buyers of Pokémon, they have the most say. It can be said that Pokémon are more excellent than the genetic creatures they have seen or raised. They are young, have high intelligence, are close to humans, and have outstanding abilities. In addition, they can keep up with the times and train their skills. Although the Pokémon Company has repeatedly stated that it is best not to let them fight too early, there are still people who can't help but pull out and fight the genetic creatures. When everyone clicks, it's often the Pokémon who wins. There are still many flash points to be discovered on them. Pokémon Paradise. Lu Sheng is patrolling the mountain. The cones grow rapidly, reaching a height of 2 meters. The branches were only much thicker a few days ago, and the branches pulled out green shoots. Mr. Lu, is this the seed that breeder produced that day? Zhou Churan sent a batch of Pokémon over and happened to meet Lu Sheng, so he went to the mountain with Lu Sheng to take a look. Right. It seems that the deworming work has been done well, and there is no trace of insect bites. Zhou Churan looked at many cone trees, and most saw ants crawling over them, but no insects. Lu Sheng explained, I haven't done deworming. When I designed the genes, I added some insect resistance genes to them. No wonder. Zhou Churan sighed. They grow so fast. Mr. Lu, what kind of trees are these? Why do I feel that you care more about them than some Pokémon? Illusion. Lu Sheng glanced sideways and said, that's because you manage the laboratory, I can rest assured, but not here. As for what kind of tree it is, you will know later, I just made an attempt, whether it will be successful or not, no bottom. Of course success will be successful, and you can't be too sure in front of Zhou Churan. Don't say it. Zhou Churan's cheeks were crimson, and his heart was sweet. It feels so good to be trusted by Lu Sheng. Hundreds of seeds have been planted here, why are there some breeders in the laboratory? Zhou Churan asked again. Not all one species. Lu Sheng is in 10 super large culture tanks, breeder thousands of seeds. Including cones and tree fruit, of which there are various types of tree fruit. When the seed breeder is successful, first plant all the hills here. According to the current progress, it may take a month, 2 months, or longer to bear fruit. It is possible that the planting will fail in the end. Everything is possible. Is there anything else? Zhou Churan didn't understand why Lu Sheng suddenly picked up plants. Well, then it will be a treasure of Yishan. Seeing Zhou Churan's doubts, Lu Sheng said patiently, these are all useful to Pokémon, and you will know. It's time again. Zhou Churan hummed angrily, selling off all day. After speaking, I couldn't help laughing. Ha ha. Lu Sheng was serious and would never reveal it in advance. The two stayed on the mountain for a while, and Zhou Churan received a call midway from the laboratory. After Zhou Churan hung up the phone, he said, the first hospital has sent a doctor and nurse to check Hoot Hoot's hypnotic ability, so let me know. Okay, I've read it too, let's go over One Piece. So the two went down the mountain and rushed to the number 2 laboratory. A while ago, Lu Sheng once said that the first hospital could provide 2 hoots to treat insomnia patients. This is not something that can be done right away. Previously, the hoot capability was incomplete, and the hospital needed approval from the leadership before it was postponed until now. The first hospital sent someone to investigate, just to be on the safe side, and it was necessary to check whether there was a problem. If you directly pull the hoot over to use it, and turn around and trouble the patient. There have been many incidents of medical troubles in these years. The first hospital must be cautious and be responsible for the patients. After the two rushed to the number 2 laboratory, they met the representative of the No. 1 hospital. 1 man and 2 women. Look at them dressed up, it's about a doctor and 2 nurse. Hello, I'm Lu Sheng, the head of the Pokémon company. Lu Sheng took the initiative to greet the 3 of them. Boss Lu, I'm a doctor at the first hospital, and my surname is Sun. Dr. Sun was flattered, shook hands with Lu Sheng, and said, today, let's take a look at the hypnotic abilities of the 2 hoots, and I hope that Mr. Lu will not take offense. How can it be that a good hospital is responsible for the patients? Please. Lu Sheng brought the 3 to the breeder room, but he didn't see Hoot. After inquiring, he found out that Hoot had gone to the playground outside to bask in the sun. When Hoot was called in, Dr. Sun and the 2 nurse started a simple test. First, I asked Lu Sheng and others whether Hoot's hypnosis has any side effects, such as whether there is a headache after hypnosis. Dr. Sun asked in detail, and then went off the field and asked Hoot to hypnotize him. You sit down and look into Hoot's eyes later. Lu Sheng explained. Just look into its eyes, it's so convenient. Dr. Sun sat on the chair, first patted his cheek to make himself more smelling salts, and then looked at a Hoot in front of him. Is this a Pokémon? He observed Hoot 2.0 up close, and it was a little funny to see it was independent on 1 foot. The shape is indeed unique, it looks like an owl, and the V-shaped antenna on the eyes is quite distinctive. The other 2 little nurse also stared at Hoot curiously. Seeing this, Lu Sheng jokingly said, you two, you don't want to fall down later, it's better not to stare at it, you have to write it down. Don't you hypnotize the patient and fall down yourself. Little nurse wanted to say that it was such an exaggeration. But he still looked away and focused on Dr. Sun's face. Lu Sheng patted his aunt in front of Dr. Sun and said, use hypnosis. Hoot eye circles are starting to glow with a hint of sheen. Dr. Sun seemed to be caught in an endless vortex and gradually lost consciousness. For a few seconds, Dr. Sun was already leaning back on the chair, making a heavy snoring sound. The 2 nurses looked at each other, not to mention how surprised. How fast is hypnosis? The 2 nurses also wanted to see what was going on, but thought of Lu Sheng's advice and bowed their heads embarrassingly. How about it? Lu Sheng patted Hoot's little head. Hoot realized consciousness, stopped hypnosis, let out a cry, flapped his little wings and fell to the ground. Great. Female nurse pushes Dr. Sun, who is still in a coma. Lu Sheng said, you can wake up Dr. Sun, I suggest shaking it hard, the effect of hypnosis is more obvious. The 2 women began to shake Dr. Sun vigorously. Half a minute later, Dr. Sun suddenly woke up from his sleep, opened his eyes in a daze, and only remembered what happened before. I fell asleep just now. He asked incredulously. The whole process felt very short, and he lost consciousness in a daze, but he didn't have this awareness. It wasn't until I was woken up by them that I realized. I was literally hypnotized just now. The feeling was so strange that Dr. Sun didn't think about it carefully, he really couldn't imagine how he felt at that time. If you have to find some words to describe it, Dr. Sun will use, moisturizing things silently, subtle, and so on. 04, yes, how does Dr. Sun feel? Is there any discomfort in the body now? Asked the female nurse. I feel pretty good. I should have fallen into a deep sleep just now. I didn't sleep well last night, and I wasn't in a good mood. I took a nap just now, and my whole body was full of energy. Dr. Sun thought for a moment, and then said, the whole body is very comfortable, and there is no discomfort, but I have to go back and do a small examination. How long have I slept? If a person is very tired and can enter a deep sleep, it will not take long, maybe a few minutes or 10 minutes, and the whole person's spirit will recover a lot. Dr. Sun suspected that he had just fallen into a deep sleep. To be able to enter so quickly, Hoot Hoot's hypnosis is really amazing. Well, maybe a minute or two. Female nurse responded. So short. Dr. Sun raised his head and said, Mr. Liu, let Hoot Hoot hypnotize me again. This time it will take more than half an hour. The time is too short, I don't think it has any reference value. Female nurse whispered in her heart that you didn't want to get a good night's sleep. Originally, the two of them also wanted to try it, and they were able to use the working time to rest, but no one was there. Okay, I'll ask someone to find a reclining chair for Dr. Sun. Rest may be uncomfortable. A few minutes later, Dr. Sun fell into a deep sleep again, lying on the reclining chair, completely weak. The two women nurse moved their fingers on the side, touched their arms, and observed anything after sleep. What a powerful hypnosis, it can make people fall into deep sleep in a few seconds. I've seen some videos, and if you use Hoot Hoot to hypnotize people, won't it be good for you? The two nurse whispered. Film. Lu Sheng suspected that they had watched the film of the island country, but there was no evidence. Hypnosis series, it should be a more classic category. Half an hour later, Dr. Sun was awakened again. It feels so good, I've been a little anxious at work recently. The quality of sleep every night is not good. If there is a Hoot Hoot hypnosis, I can ensure that I can go to work full of energy every day. Dr. Sun's expression changed suddenly, and he muttered, if someone uses Hoot Hoot to do bad things, wouldn't it be a hypnosis and a quasi? Maybe. Lu Sheng smiled. The hospital can't use it for bad things. Dr. Sun, now you can go back and do a comprehensive examination. Hoot Hoot is ready to serve in the hospital, just waiting for your approval. It is good. Dr. Sun gave a thumbs up. Hoot Hoot is really good, hee. If it can be sold in the future, I will definitely buy one to take home. By the way, can they evolve? Can. Lu Sheng said. The Pokémon produced by our company basically have this ability. Not all Pokémon have advanced forms. The next day, Dr. Sun called Lu Sheng, and the hospital confirmed that there would be no sequelae. He hoped that two Hoot Hoots would be able to try it out today. Lu Sheng handed over the task to Lily in the laboratory, and she will bring two Hoot Hoots back and forth every day from now on. Lily is still happy after receiving the task. Although this task is rather tedious, she has to go back and forth between the hospital and the laboratory every day, but it is better than being bored in the laboratory all day. That morning, Lily escorted two Hoot Hoots to the first hospital of Yunhai City. After getting in touch with Dr. Sun took Lily to the neurology department. You guys came just in time, and just met a troublesome insomniac who didn't rest for 3 days and 3 nights, and always said he couldn't sleep when he lay down. This patient is quite special. He had insomnia for a long time. He used to take sleeping pills, and it was effective at first. Later, he took it for a long time and became resistant. Now the effect of sleeping pills is greatly weakened. Quality. On the way, Dr. Sun was more excited. Because it will be seen later whether Hoot Hoot can perform hypnosis on a patient with severe insomnia, I don't know if it will work. Well, definitely leave it to Hoot Hoot. Lily is quite confident. The two Hoot Hoots on the shoulders are one on the left and one on the right, and their eyes are round and round, like two statues. Along the way, the rate of turning back is extremely high. When everyone sees the Hoot Hoot on Lily's shoulder, most of them take a second look. During this period, someone looked at Hoot Hoot's eyes and suddenly froze. Lily found this scene, and quickly blindfolded the two Hoot Hoots, reprimanded, forgot to explain. You can't use your hypnosis casually when you go out. Humph, disobedient, the ration is halved. Hoot Hoot tilde. Hoot Hoot. Two Hoot Hoots protest. When they came to the neurology clinic, they heard two people talking at the door. Doctor, what should I do if I look like this? You have to help me. The effect of sleeping pills has been really bad recently, can you take more? No. Hey, my life is too affected by this, I can't sleep in the middle of the night, and I feel uncomfortable with my eyes closed. Is there any other way? You need to exercise more every day, pay attention to your diet, and I will give you a recipe. Hey, didn't your hospital say that some birds sponsored by the Pokémon company can be hypnotized? It doesn't necessarily work. When two Hoot Hoots will be delivered, you can try it first. If it works well, you can go to the Pokémon company and ask. Then a long sigh. Dr. Sun stepped into the consultation room and coughed lightly. Hoot Hoot brought it, do you want to try the effect? The doctors and patients inside looked at them together. The patient's face was full of joy, and the light of hope burst out from his bloodshot eyeballs. Are they Hoot Hoot? Try it now. My husband's contest condition is really bad recently. I don't know how it works. The patient's wife said happily. Hoot Hoot's hypnosis is amazing. I promise you won't be disappointed. Lily patted the little heads of the two Hoot Hoots, and praised Heiko first. The neurologist nodded slightly. Okay, I will arrange a hospital bed for you. If you can really fall asleep, I suggest you get a good night's sleep in the hospital. Okay, thank you, doctor. The couple are more excited. Soon, the bed will be ready. The patient was lying on the bed, and several doctors came around, including the hospital director. Although Dr. Sun praised Hoot Hoot after his return, it remains to be verified whether it can be effective for patients with severe insomnia. If successful, there will be an additional magic weapon to deal with insomnia. They're the ones that hypnotize. Pokémon. The spirited old director of the hospital put on presbyopic glasses and looked closely at the two Hoot Hoots. Originally wanted to call it genomics, but other companies called it Pokémon, and the old director immediately changed his tune. In the past 2 days, he has been learning about Pokémon on the internet. Yesterday, when Dr. Sun returned from the experience, the old dean asked in detail, and became more and more curious about Pokémon. The old dean also raised genetic organisms at home. A few days ago, the granddaughter at home called to buy a Pokémon, but the price was too high, and the elders in the family could not afford it. Including the old dean, also thinks it is not worth it. Isn't Pokémon also a genetic creature? How much difference can it make? But the granddaughter listed many advantages and made charm offensive. The old dean lost in a row, and told his granddaughter that there would be two Hoot Hoots in the hospital, and they would have a look when the time came. If Hoot Hoot makes his old man happy, he might pay for a Pokémon to keep. Yes, Lily proudly said. They are the only bird Pokémon in our company at present, with a unique hypnosis, which can hypnotize from the spiritual level of the creature. We have made many attempts. Ordinary creatures, genetic creatures, human beings, all will be recruited. Lily did not disclose specific test results. The stronger the normal mental power, the more difficult it is to be recruited. Animals, for example, are very prone to hypnosis, falling down in 2 or 3 seconds at most. People can persist for a little longer. Each person is different. If you can realize that you will be hypnotized during this period, as long as you look away in time, you can avoid being hypnotized. After hypnosis, whether or not to fall asleep depends on the instructions issued by Hoot Hoot. So amazing. Not sure if it works for a deep insomniac. The old dean was charitable and humorous. Miss G, you can start your performance. No, it should be Hoot Hoot's performance. Lily patted a Hoot Hoot on her shoulder, held it up, put it in front of the patient, and made the patient look into the eyes of the Hoot Hoot. Don't look away, look at it. The patient's bloodshot eyeballs were fixed. Hoot Hoot, put him into a deep sleep. Hypnosis starts. The patient stared into Hoot Hoot's eyes, gradually sinking into a vortex. Compared to hypnotizing Dr. Sun, this patient was more difficult to hypnotize. He stared at it for about 10 seconds before slowly closing his eyelids. After a while, the breathing gradually became steady, the muscles on the face gradually relaxed, and the body began to flatten. Originally, the patient and his wife shook hands, but gradually loosened. All right. Lily put Hoot Hoot back on her shoulders. Hoot 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 Hoot. It uttered a slight growl. I know, glutton. Lily took out a handful of small snacks from his pocket and brought it to its mouth. It pecked happily and purred contentedly. The other Hoot Hoot also flapped its wings, and Lily was helpless and gave it a little too. Several people from the old dean checked for a while, and saw that the patient had indeed fallen asleep. They shook gently, but still no movement. It seems that hypnosis is really powerful. Tisk, it's amazing. I wonder if this kind of genetic technology can be put on people. Dare to experiment with humans. Obviously impossible. Dean, I feel like we can introduce 1 or 2 in the future, although the Pokémon company is currently providing us for free. They whispered, and it was amazing. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have thought it was the kind of hypnosis that is popular on the market. If it is artificial hypnosis, sometimes it may not work. Moreover, the whole process is lengthy and requires a skilled hypnotist to do it. If you want to learn hypnosis, you need to practice for a long time, use the inertia in everyone's consciousness, and carry out some tedious steps. Hoot hoot, just stare at it. It's really amazing, simple and straightforward. The old dean has decided in his heart that he can buy a Pokémon for his granddaughter later. Today, Hoot Hoot's performance was perfect, much beyond the old dean's expectations. Let's go out and talk, don't wake the patient up. The old dean motioned for everyone to follow, and when he got outside, he asked G. Lily, what did they eat just now? Oh, it's just ordinary snacks. They are rather greedy. If you don't give them something to eat, you may get emotional. Thinking of Lu Sheng's explanation, G. Lily added, in the future, I will send them here every morning and pick them up after 5 o'clock in the evening. During the hospital period, it is best not to make them work hard, it may make them too tired, and they will aversion to work. Okay, we took note. The old dean nodded. Even medical equipment needs to rest and recuperate after running for a period of time. Cough, Miss G, did you Lu always say how much for an all like this? The old dean couldn't help reaching out and touched Hoot Hoot's unique small antenna, and then gently stroked Hoot Hoot's feathers with his fingertips. The probability is similar to Pichu and Squirtle, 2 or 300,000. That's not too expensive. Precision equipment in a hospital can be much more expensive than a Hoot Hoot. The old dean pondered in his heart that as long as 1 or 2 were kept in the hospital, they could basically deal with those insomniacs. A fee may be charged for each use. It doesn't need to be too high. Once the number of times is more, the capital will definitely be earned back. You can even bring Hoot Hoot to your door. Our President Lu said that if the first hospital is willing to help us promote it to our peers, we can give away 2 for free in the future. G. Lily's eyes flashed sly. Before coming, Lu Sheng mentioned this matter, and he knew their reactions very well. Oh, that's a good proposal, haha. The old dean applauded. Zhao Qian Zhao. It happens that there are a lot of old guys in the group. When the time comes, they will post a video in the group and brag about it, and most of them will be hooked. G. Lily left a lot of rations for the old director, explained some details, and left the 2 Hoot Hoots in the first hospital. Back to the laboratory, I happened to bump into Lu Sheng at the door, and G. Lily will report this time by the way. For a long time in the future, you may have to run back and forth, and when the first hospital will help us pull a big list, your task will be completed. Lu Sheng was carrying a small bag in his hand. As always, there are many small bottles of black in it. The incubator is all empty, ready for a new batch of Pokémon breeders. Are there any new species? How many this time? G. Lily didn't ask, and kept up. Afterwards, everyone learned that Lu Sheng came to release 8 brand new Pokémon today, and the laboratory was boiling. 8. Are you kidding? Mr. Lu, are you hanging up? Have you seen fresh Pokémon again? If we keep going like this, our Pokémon company will definitely be among the top. When everyone heard the news, they were either amazed or clapped and laughed. The old man was relatively calm, and had long been shocked to the point of numbness. Rookies are so excited, as if they were the ones who designed the Pokémon. Mr. Lu, did you say something wrong? 8 kinds. Zhou Churan snapped his fingers and couldn't believe it for a while. We all know that Lu Sheng is so powerful that he can come up with new results every once in a while. In half a month, or even less, 2, 3, and 4 new Pokémons are designed. This time, I told them to take out 8 kinds at one time. Everyone has to marvel at the high efficiency of Lu Sheng. And not a single design failure, all fine. Some people in the outside world say, a magical product must be a fine product. Magic, here refers to the Pokémon company. However, Zhou Churan and the others confirmed that it should be accurate to say this. Lushen's product must be a fine product. Lu Shen is the name that everyone calls Lu Sheng recently. The West has the hand of God, and the East has the God of the Way. This is a very high honor 787 given by the outside world. Zhou Churan and the others did not feel ashamed, but thought that Lu Sheng was worthy of this title. This guy is so perverted that he comes up with 8 new designs of Pokémon at once. Is that something a human can do? Yes, there are only 8, everyone, hurry up. After the matter is settled here, I have to go back to the company. It seems that the representative of the event has come and invited me to participate, and wants to talk to me. Let's talk. Lu Sheng urged everyone. It's not that he wants to take out so much at one time, he can only blame the system for a crit attack and double the points. Hey, I usually thought that Mr. Lu was very leisurely. It seemed that he would definitely study it in the laboratory when he got home. Otherwise, how could he come up with 8 kinds at one time? Yes, I saw some redness in Mr. Lu's eye circles just now, and he may stay up late. It's hard work, I believe it. They get busy. Lu Sheng wants to say that staying up late is not because of designing, but because a group of little rascals at home will do things. Last night, a few small things were barbecued in the middle of the night and almost set the house on fire. Fortunately, War Turtle was there, otherwise the villa would be destroyed by fire AECA. After tossing to the middle of the night, Lu Sheng was just about to fall asleep. When he touched his side, there was another person, and Lu Sheng felt chills all over. When I turned on the light, it turned out that it was Ditto incarnated as Zhou Churan, lying quietly on the side like a cold corpse. Lu Sheng almost fainted. In the middle of the night, I touch a woman lying next to me, which can scare people out of a heart attack. The more than 1,000 culture tanks in the breeder chamber were all filled with culture medium, and the biological cells were continuously put into them. Lu Sheng, as usual, turned off the monitor after entering, and then began to slowly release it. Since the International Exchange Conference, the price of the culture medium has a significant downward trend. Until recently, several companies producing culture fluids communicated with Zhao Bo and obtained the authorization of the new formula. According to rumors in the industry, Zhao Bo's culture medium is indeed feasible, and the quality is better than the previous one, and the cost is reduced by about 85%. With such significant progress, major manufacturers are now starting to lower the price of culture medium. Especially in the last week, after one of the world's leading culture medium manufacturers has launched a large number of new culture medium, the price has declined even more. The batch of culture medium that Pokémon has just purchased is only about 35% of the price at its peak. In the future, prices will continue to fall. So, the price of this batch of Pokémon can start to drop. When Lu Sheng raised this matter, many people in the laboratory expressed their confusion. Even if the price of the culture medium is reduced, the price of Pokémon should not be reduced too much, with a maximum fluctuation of 10% to 20%. However, Lu Sheng offered to reduce the price by 60%. This decision shocked everyone present at the time, including Zhou Churan, as incomprehensible. Because they think that research and development costs are also included. If other companies have Pokémon's quality genetic creatures, it will be a ghost if they don't sell hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. It's not like Lu Sheng is going to cut the price. Pokémon are unique. Lu Sheng put in 8 new Pokémon, and when one of the cultivation tanks was completed, he still lamented that the number of cultivation tanks was not enough. Buzzing. There is a sound of construction outside. Lu Sheng came back to his senses, thinking that after this construction, the face of the laboratory would be more than doubled, and he felt a little comfort in his heart. Zhou Churan and others were called in by Lu Sheng and began to observe the activity of the seeds. Lu Sheng explained a few times, left here, and went to the company. Halfway through, Huang Xiaoyu called again to urge him. Lu Sheng asked, "What event did you say earlier?" "It's an event similar to walking the red carpet, referred to as the Victoria's Secret Show." "Hasn't Mr. Lu heard of it?" Huang Xiaoyu said. "What, isn't the Victoria's Secret Show an underwear show?" Lu Sheng's mouth twitched. Could it be that the parallel world, Victoria's Secret, is no longer a lingerie and pajama company? "What, Mr. Lu, are you confused?" Huang Xiaoyu explained. Waimi Show, referred to as the secret of the only new century darling, because it is carried out in a catwalk situation, so it is abbreviated as Waimi Show. "I have never heard of any underwear show, Mr. Lu, what are you thinking about all day long?" All right. Only then did Lu Sheng understand that it turned out to be two different things. Is it any good to participate? Lu Sheng searched his memory and found that there was indeed a genetic creature catwalk. It seems that the reputation is not low, but the previous Lu Sheng did not pay much attention. Yes, the exposure of Pokémon will increase at that time, and Mr. Lu will also be able to take the stage at that time, take Pokémon on the catwalk, and have the opportunity to give a short speech to the outside world. Huang Xiaoyu gushed endlessly. If we can win some sponsorships, the advertising fee will be a lot of money. Sounds good, hang up for now, I'm driving, I'll talk to you when I get back to the company. Lu Sheng put down his phone and pondered for a moment. If the date is close, the news of Pokemon's big price reduction will be announced on this only secret show at that time, and the popularity will definitely not be low at that time, and it should be able to attract worldwide attention and discussion. If the date is in half a month, maybe a new batch of Pokemon will also make an appearance. If the time comes, there are more than a dozen Pokemon around. The reputation of the Pokemon company will be on the rise. When Lu Sheng entered the company, his first impression was that the company was expanding too quickly, and the working environment began to deteriorate. Some time ago, the crazy expansion of recruitment, the company's employees increased many times. The office space prepared in the early days was not big enough. It seems that another place will be found and some people will be removed. If there is still room for rent in this office building, Lu Sheng intends to rent it together to facilitate work. If you think the company is big enough, you must build a building that belongs to the Pokemon company. Mr. Lu. Huang Xiaoyu stepped on high heels and waved to Lu Sheng. Where are the people? Lu Sheng looked around. The waiting room. Huang Xiaoyu said. She waited for an hour, and I was embarrassed. I wanted to ask her to come back another day, but she said, I want to see you. Oh, am I a fan? Lu Sheng winked and said isn't it pretty? Huang Xiaoyu rolled his eyes and said, pretty, but I'm not your fan. They're just here for a routine business. You think too much, Mr. Lu. All right. Lu Sheng thought for a while and asked, do you know when the YMI show will start? Huang Xiaoyu said, well, it seems to be the middle of next month. That means it's still half a month away. Lu Sheng calculated the time and said happily, it seems that the time can catch up. At that time, all Pokemon can be dispatched together to show the true strength of the company. What? Huang Xiaoyu didn't understand. Nothing. What's the other party's name? Surname Yun. Not a common last name. Lu Sheng had walked into the reception room, and suddenly saw the beautiful woman on the sofa drinking tea and reading a magazine. Cough. Miss Yun, I kept you waiting. He entered in 3 or 5 steps and sat opposite Yunxia. Hello Mr. Lu, I am Yunxia, this time I represent the Wymaxiu to invite you to the Pokemon company. Yunxia hurriedly put down the magazine and went straight to the point. Lu Sheng snapped his fingers, and then Huang Xiaoyu understood and went to make coffee for Lu Sheng. You only need to send an invitation letter, why does Miss Yun have to come in person? Mainly because I want to see Mr. Lu's Pokemon in advance. Yunxia's eyes wandered, and she saw several figures passing by the door. Usually, when Lu Sheng goes out, there are always a few Pokemon around. On a previous trip to Lab 2, Ditto, Mew and Hoothoot stayed there to play, only Pikachu, Wartortle and Charmeleon came along. Does Miss Yun like them too? If you like them, you can buy them, and I can give you a special price here. Lu Sheng heard a crackling sound from outside, the corners of his eyes twitched, and he got up and went to the door to take a look. As predicted, 3 little things smashed the flower pot between uproar. Gigi, Xiaojiao, Xiaoyan, come here for me. Lu Sheng growled. Soon, 3 figures appeared at the door. Kamikami. Ho-a-ho. They blame each other and throw the pot away. Lu Sheng's face darkened, and he carried them in one by one. Stay here and don't run around. Can't bring you to the company in the future, and something breaks every time. Are you 2 hectares? Hearing the outside staff burst into laughter, Lu Sheng had no choice but to turn around and resume his smile. They are more skinny. No, I think it's cute and energetic. Yunxia said embarrassedly, can I touch them? Can. Lu Sheng nodded. Yunxia couldn't wait to squat down and grab 3 Pokemons. They are also particularly unmotivated, closing their eyes slightly and enjoying the caress of beautiful women. Alas, it seems to raise a Pichu, or Pikachu, but the price is too high, not a poor person like me can afford it. Yunxia smiled and said, Mr. Lu, do you think you can sell me cheaper? Cannot. Lu Sheng shook his head decisively. Never try to take advantage of him with beauty. Alas. Yunxia was a little disappointed. Huang Xiaoyu, who was making coffee, laughed. Sure enough, the owner of the house is not interested in beauties at all, and all his thoughts are on Pokémon. Otherwise, when I usually dress up and flaunt myself and dangle in front of him, why didn't I see him in action? Lu Sheng said. However, next month, the price of Pokémon will be reduced, and then Miss Yun may be able to afford it. And the price is much lower. That can't afford it either. Yunxia got up and sat back on the sofa with Pikachu in her arms. According to Yunxia's understanding, she thought that Lu Sheng's so-called explanation was at most 20,000 Arnold, but she still couldn't afford it. Let's talk business. Lu Sheng asked. If the Pokémon company participates in the only secret show, how should they prepare? Yunxia said sternly. This year's Wei Mi show will be held in Dongcheng, the capital of the island country. At that time, as long as your company sends a representative, President Lu can also go there in person. The whole process is probably that each representative will bring his own company's genetic organisms, like walking the red carpet, from one end to the other. The whole process is relatively simple. After each show, the jury will give an overall score, and the score will be given according to the appearance. So, it's not necessarily that the more powerful the genetic creature is, the more points you will get. The judges all look at the appearance and performance of the genetic creature. If Lu Zong is lucky enough to get the top 10, he will receive a generous bonus, and featured in our company's new favorite magazine. New Beloved Magazine, simply put, is a magazine that introduces global genetic biology. The monthly sales are very high. If you want to buy a prominent advertisement on it, it is difficult to get it without a few million. Our Wymaxiu has always had a relatively high exposure, and attention has been increasing in recent years. Yunxia is quite proud. Okay, our Pokémon company will participate. Male. Lu Sheng quipped. Besides the catwalk, will there be any gladiator fights? I think that Pokémon won't be too stable if it's better than its appearance, but if it's better than a gladiator fight. Yunxia pursed her lips and smiled. If Mr. Lu wants to participate in the genetic biology fight, I suggest Mr. Lu to sign up for the Orange League in Dongcheng. The international competition that has emerged in recent years is an annual prosperous world. After our Waimei show, the bonus is more generous than our Waimei show. Orange League. Lu Sheng said softly, and his expression changed slightly. Go back and search the internet, if time permits, you can participate once. Pokémons are honed during battles. Lu Sheng hopes to have some strong rivals by then. In addition, you can assist this league and show the strength of Pokémon to the outside world again. The cone trees on the mountain are growing gradually, and now they are more than 3 meters high. The growth rate is incredible. And many little dots have grown on the branches. After receiving the news this morning, Lu Sheng hurried to Pokémon Paradise without having breakfast and took a walk around the mountain. I don't know how long it will take to mature and form a Pokeball. If I can catch up with the trip to the island country. Lu Sheng fantasized about throwing Pokeballs during the game. Pikachu or Charmeleon come out of it. It must be thunderous. In addition to the cone trees, there are saplings of other fruit trees on the mountain, which have grown half a meter high, and the growth rate is the same. After leaving the paradise, Lu Sheng went to the laboratory and told Zhou Churan and others about going to the island country to participate in the Wei Mi show. Ah, are you going to an island country? Some time ago, I heard that there is a 787 nuclear leak there, and the nuclear wastewater may be discharged to the Pacific Ocean for dilution. Well, how can nuclear wastewater be diluted so well? It's obviously my own trouble, and now I want the world to share it. Hopefully it doesn't affect us, alas, it seems unlikely. Talking about the island country, everyone immediately talked about a major event that may have happened recently. News was playing on the TV in the laboratory. Suddenly, the topic of the news changed, and the issue of nuclear wastewater in the island country was also mentioned. According to the previous reporter report, the island country cannot process 1.12 million tons of nuclear wastewater and will discharge it within 2 days. Everyone's expressions changed slightly. Say what? Lu Sheng frowned and was about to express some opinions, but the system jumped out of his own accord. The world event, Purify Sewage, will be triggered after the island nation releases nuclear waste. Purify the sewage. Suicune has the ability to purify water sources. Nuclear wastewater will affect the environment around the world. The birth of Suicune cannot be delayed. When the event is triggered, the Suicune gene function can be turned on. Suicune. Lu Sheng was stunned. The island country discharges nuclear wastewater, which can trigger the world and unlock Suicune, one of the three holy beasts. The Pokédex at the bottom of the system interface jumps out of a new column, which is impressively the elegant posture of Suicune. Mostly, it will be the same as Mew, and can only be extracted once. Will the development also be particularly slow? Lu Sheng clicked into Suicune's Pokédex and found that it is currently impossible to edit and extract Suicune's genetic code, and see a special remark below. The incarnation of water, placed in liquid breeder, will grow faster. Lu Sheng pondered for a while, thinking that the culture medium is also a liquid. Does it grow faster than Mew? If breeder releases Suicune before the trip to the island country, he may be able to assist Suicune's ability to purify the pollution caused by nuclear wastewater. Since it has the ability to purify water sources, it is not a problem to want to come to nuclear pollution. Early the next morning, the island nation announced the dumping of nuclear waste into the Pacific Ocean. World event triggered. Lu Sheng was woken up by the system prompt sound early in the morning. Click on the Suicune column to view it, and it is already editable contest condition. It's really sloppy, dumped directly into the Pacific Ocean. He cursed a certain country and was happy to unlock Suicune, one of the three holy beasts. With Suicune, nuclear contamination can be leveled. After Lu Sheng finished washing, he finished the number 2 laboratory. In fact, there are still a few vacancies in laboratory number 1, but Lu Sheng is not worried about the security there. Suicune is so important that it cannot be ignored. Go and empty all the seeds in the super large tank. I'm going to drop a brand new Pokémon. Lu Sheng entered the laboratory, and he was in a hurry. There are tree fruit seeds that have just been put in one of the oversized growing tanks in Breeder's room. He doesn't care whether it is well developed or not, and wants to inject Suicune seeds as soon as possible. Swish. Zhou Churan and the others were busy, and all turned their heads at this time. And double recorded to design a new species. It's only been a few days since the last time. Hey, don't look stupid, just go do it. Lu Sheng touched his cheek, almost thinking that he had flowers on his face when he went out today. Oh. Zhou Churan and several people went to do it. A super large culture tank is emptied, filled with culture medium, and placed in biological cells. Lu Sheng was left alone in the cultivation room. Lu Sheng opened the system interface and called up Suicune's gene editing interface. Ability value enhancement, intelligence enhancement, loyalty enhancement, vitality enhancement. After editing, choose to put it into the culture tank just now. Just as Lu Sheng expected, the Suicune column was locked on. Lu Sheng secretly said a pity, and began to use the equipment to observe the movement in the culture tank. As stated in that note, the Suicune gene quickly fuses with biological cells and grows at a very fast rate. The growth rate is faster than Mew, and at this rate of development, it is estimated that it will grow faster than normal Pokémon. Lu Sheng also observed that the nutrient loss in the culture tank was faster than that of all Pokémon. I am afraid that it would take 2 or 3 times the culture medium of the remaining Pokémon to form. After Zhou Churan and others came in, they discovered the situation of the cultivation tank immediately and were speechless. It's so fast to absorb the culture medium. It feels like raising a monster. I don't know what will be born. It may be very important to see Mr. Lu's fiery appearance. Is Mr. Lu's hard work? Everyone gathered around the cultivation tank and talked in a low voice. Zhou Churan knew that Lu Sheng liked to sell off, but he still couldn't help asking, what kind of Pokémon? A graceful, good creature capable of dealing with nuclear wastewater. Lu Sheng attached to Zhou Churan's ear and whispered to her. Hey, stop bluffing. Zhou Churan wrinkled his nose, not new at all. The nuclear contamination incident I saw only yesterday. How could it be possible to design a new genetic organism as soon as I go back, and deceive ghosts? Hee. Lu Sheng smiled without saying a word. 2.0. Never mind. Zhou Churan suddenly pointed to a few cultivation tanks and asked, what species are these, and why do they feel like they are growing faster? In about 3 days, they are about to take shape, and the eggs are not particularly big. There are many similar Pokémon eggs, divided in different culture tanks. Lu Sheng took a few glances and said, a kind of Pokémon you might like. Real. Zhou Churan rejoiced in his heart. This guy always knows some romance. However, Zhou Churan didn't know that Lu Sheng was lying, and those little Pokémon eggs were Caterpie. Zhou Churan felt goosebumps all over his body when he saw soft-bodied creatures. Ditto was an example last time. If Caterpie was born again. I'm afraid I'm going to go crazy. The island country is under pressure from major powers to suspend the discharge of nuclear wastewater. In the morning, the island country only planned to carry out. Very little nuclear wastewater has flowed into the Pacific Ocean, but it was urgently stopped. The pressure from the major countries, especially the star flag country they are attached to, also exerted enough pressure, so they had to stop. According to news reports, no more than 10 tons of nuclear wastewater is currently discharged into the sea. Rao is so, the outside world has already criticized the island country, condemned by neighboring countries, and exerted enough pressure on the big country. In the interview, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the island exclaimed, the accumulation of nuclear wastewater is increasing. Now we are not allowed to discharge it into the ocean, and we will not be able to store it in the future. There is only one way to discharge it into the ocean. There are few options other than the determination to dilute the sewage into the Pacific Ocean. The island country's environment minister said so in the face of the media. For the statement of the Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the island, all countries also voiced their condemnation. If I knew today, why was it in the first place? When the nuclear leak happened, countries should be asked for help to bring about the current situation. The island country has an inescapable responsibility, but it is irresponsible for the entire O4 world. Everyone can only temporarily suppress the plan of the island country, pinning their hopes on finding a long-term and effective solution in the future. According to the current accumulation rate, the storage limit will be reached after 2020. After reading many reports in the office, Lu Sheng looked strange. The plot can be described as twists and turns. According to Lu Sheng's memory, another world, the island nation wants to drain the sewage, but the date has not yet come. Now the nuclear wastewater has actually started to be discharged. Fortunately, other countries blocked it, and the island country temporarily succumbed to pressure. In fact, since the nuclear leakage incident on the floating island, a lot of nuclear wastewater has been discharged into the ocean one after another. It's just that most of them are sealed on floating islands. Afterwards, due to improper treatment, the accumulation of nuclear wastewater is increasing day by day, which can increase by 150 tons per day. Is this time testing the attitudes of various countries? Lu Sheng put down his phone and said, if I can handle this with Suicune, not only will Pokémon become famous all over the world, but I might even get a lot of good money from the island country. If you want Lu Sheng to work for free, it is naturally impossible. How can we not get tens of billions from the island country at that time? Every year, the island country has to invest 70 billion RB to deal with the nuclear leakage of the floating island, which is about 4.5 billion dragon coins. Coupled with the pollution of nuclear radiation, I believe that the island will kneel down to take tens of billions and ask Lu Sheng for help. The premise is that Lu Sheng proves Suicune's purifiability in time. At that time, I will ask Secretary Wen to help me. If the country can be my backing, this matter will be more reliable. Lu Sheng was sure, and planned to talk to Secretary Wen after Suicune was born. While thinking about it, Huang Xiaoyu came in from the outside, holding Pikachu Gigi with a loveless face in his arms. Huang Xiaoyu likes Gigi very much. As long as Gigi comes to the company, he will be ravaged by Huang Xiaoyu frantically, and the hair on his body will be bald. Mr. Lu, several hospitals jointly called and said they planned to talk to our company about Hoot Hoot. She said while rubbing Gigi's head. Oh. It seems that the first hospital has started to help us promote it. How many are there in total? What did they say? There are 7 or 8, and each one said to buy 2. They ordered them together and asked if we could give some discounts. Huang Xiaoyu stuck out his tongue and said, our price is 300,000 yuan, and they think it's too expensive. No matter how cheap it is, they will find it too expensive. Lu Sheng said lightly, since they brought Hoot Hoot to work, it is impossible to sell it to them too cheaply. Otherwise, I don't know how to cherish it. I don't want Hoot Hoot to be squeezed by Solucian in their hands. Huang Xiaoyu nodded vigorously. In terms of price, go and reply to them. If you order more than 20 pieces at one time, the unit price can be 250,000. Okay. Huang Xiaoyu took 2 steps, then turned around and said, by the way, there is one more thing. The first hospital seems to have found a media to interview, and greatly praised our Hoot Hoot. They said that they have tried their best to help me promote, and asked our previous promise. We won't break our promise here, and when the subsequent batch of Hoot Hoots grow up a little bit, we will give them 2 for free. Lu Sheng was interested in the interview, and after sending Huang Xiaoyu away, he searched the internet and did see media reports. The interview is not too long, and the general content is that the first hospital of Yunhai City has introduced a new method of treating insomnia. Hoot Hoot hypnotherapy. There are Dr. Sun's experience and feelings in it, and the old director attaches great importance to Hoot Hoot hypnotherapy, and believes that the hospital should keep pace with the times. If more genetic organisms can be applied to medicine, it can effectively solve some stubborn diseases. Hoot Hoot from Pokémon has outstanding capabilities in this regard. I recommend that some patients who have suffered from severe insomnia for a long time can come to the first hospital to experience it. I believe there will be surprises. The old director of the first hospital was highly praised. There is also an interview with the first patient who received the therapy. Before receiving the therapy, I was very skeptical about it. At that time, I was in a very bad mood. I hadn't slept well for 3 days, and I also took sleeping pills. Medicinal properties, to affect life and work, very distressed. Until I arrived at the hospital that day and experienced Hoot Hoot hypnotherapy, I slept through the night and felt comfortable. I heard that the Pokémon company is not planning to open the Hoot Hoot purchase right to individuals, and it is only available to hospitals for the time being. Otherwise, I may have to buy one to go home, and I don't need to take sleeping pills every day. Throughout the article, half of them praised Hoot Hoot's good curative effect, and the other half advertised for the first hospital. After reading the report, Lu Sheng went to read the comments of netizens. Many people were curious about this, and some insomniacs expressed their intention to try it, thanks to Lu Sheng, and to the Pokémon company. Among them, there are also several comments that they have tried it at the first hospital and confirmed that Hoot Hoot does have a strong hypnotic ability, allowing people to quickly enter a deep sleep. Some people are puzzled that the Pokémon company is only available to hospitals. This kind of good baby should be open to everyone. However, some people soon felt that the Pokémon company's approach was more secure, and if it fell into the hands of individuals, it could easily be used to do bad things. After everyone is familiar with Hoot Hoot, then slowly open the right to buy to individuals, I believe that everyone knows enough and will not be easily recruited. Caterpie's Pokémon eggs are formed very quickly. From putting in to taking out, the whole cycle is only 3 days. After that, put it in the incubator, and after 3.5 days, the Caterpie has shown signs of hatching. Lu Sheng was standing in front of the incubator at the moment, illuminating the situation inside with strong light, and about seeing a figure wriggling inside. The inside of the Pokémon egg made a squeaky movement, which may be Caterpie chewing the Pokémon egg. Mr. Lu, what is it? Zhou Churan stared curiously at the Caterpie Pokémon egg. Last time, Lu Sheng fooled her, saying she liked Pokémon. So Zhou Churan subconsciously ruled out the insects, thinking that it might be a fish, or a Pokémon with short legs and long hair. You'll know when you come out, it's sure to attract Stephanie's liking. Lu Sheng held back his laughter and continued to fool around. It might be really popular with girls. After all, it can turn cocoons into butterflies, and after becoming butterfree, the shape is quite beautiful. Furthermore, Caterpie itself is not bad. With big eyes and long horns on his head, he looks very cute. Of course, many girls don't like bugs and may reject them. If Lu Sheng told everyone that Caterpie is not only cheap, but also can quickly evolve into a big butterfly, there will be no shortage of buyers. Look, there is movement. Zhou Churan noticed that a certain Pokémon egg had been cracked, and happily leaned over. Through the gap, you can see a little bit of green. Green Pokémon. Must be cute. Zhou Churan began to make up for the little creatures that appeared later. His mouth couldn't help but twitch, and he laughed silly. Lu Sheng couldn't help but glanced at him and stood a little further away in silence. If Zhou Churan gets angry, he can dodge the attack as soon as possible. A new Pokémon is about to be born, and most of the staff come over. With a total of 200 Caterpie Pokémon eggs, shell smash times are very close. This side has just cracked a gap, and the other side also has tentacles sticking out from it. Everyone is curious about what Caterpie looks like, because Zhou Churan said in private that it may be a cute little creature. Click. The first Caterpie emerges from the inside. The smile on Zhou Churan's face solidified, and the corners of his eyes were beating wildly. A big bug. The head has Y-shaped red tentacles, large black eyes, 2 pairs of gastropods, green back, white abdomen, and yellow ring markings on both sides of the body. Everyone froze. It's a big green bug. What about cute little creatures? But it doesn't look bad either. It's just that everyone usually rejects caterpillars, and they feel uncomfortable for the first time. Caterpie is relatively large, and the wriggling surface is really not easy to start with. Road. Total. Zhou Churan gritted his teeth and turned back to Lu Shenglir, as if, the old lady is going to fight with you. Lu Sheng smirked and said, "Ah, isn't it cute? Haha, I believe it will sell well, what do you think?" Everyone was silent. Can it really sell? Insects have always been the creatures that most people hate. Men and women rarely seem to like keeping bugs. Keeping bugs has always been a relatively niche behavior. What's more, it's hard to muster up the courage to touch this big caterpillar. Actually, it feels really good, you can feel it. Lu Sheng has taken the lead in stroking the surface of Caterpie. Although it doesn't have the fluffy feel, it's definitely soft enough, try it. I don't want it. Mr. Lu clearly knew that I didn't like soft-bodied creatures, and he fooled me. Zhou Churan said faintly, "Bad man. Deceived me for several days, Lu Sheng wiped the surface of his body with a Caterpie, picked it up again, and sent it to Zhou Churan, making Zhou Churan back in fright. Everyone burst into laughter. Bad man. Zhou Churan exclaimed angrily. Come on, get in touch. Lu Sheng said solemnly. Director Zhou, I'm here to help you overcome some psychological obstacles, you shouldn't be too exclusive. Zhou Churan shook his head firmly. Lu Sheng smiled and said, Look, it must not be scary, doesn't it look cute? Caterpie fluttered like a fish in Lu Sheng's arms. Zhou Churan retreated subconsciously. Well, I believe that after you have more contact, you will slowly accept them. Lu Sheng put down Caterpie and continued to work with the others. When preparing to feed them, Lu Sheng said, Take the grass leaf type nutritional paste directly, you can get them a batch of fresh leaves later, and try all kinds of leaves to see what kind of leaves they like. Lu Sheng plans to go back and put them in the mountains of Pokémon Paradise to raise a wave. Caterpie likes to eat leaves and will grow faster by eating leaves. Been busy for half an hour. Zhou Churan gradually calmed down, although he still felt wronged. Originally thought that Lu Sheng would play a little romance, but it turned out to be bullying. She almost cried when she saw Caterpie. Not scared to cry, but sad. Name them, Mr. Lu. Caterpie. Fair enough, what about the price? Zhou Churan wondered. I know the price will definitely not be high, but this form, I feel that many people can't introduce it. Breeder Caterpie used up less than 1500 of the broth, and I plan to sell only 3000. Lu Sheng said. A Caterpie that can evolve only sells for 3000, why don't you try it? Moreover, the evolution of Caterpie is relatively simple. Know how to turn a cocoon into a butterfly, this is the root of Caterpie. Can become a butterfly. Everyone was surprised. Right. Lu Sheng smiled. And similar to the bugs we usually see, the entire cycle is shorter than other Pokémon. If you cultivate it carefully, you may complete 2 stages of transformation in a few months. This is still a conservative estimate. As long as Caterpie can evolve into Metapod, it will only take a week or 2 from Metapod Jiao Chenjiao to Butterfree. How many months? 2 phases. It has always been assumed that Pokémon can evolve paper at most once. Listening to Lu Sheng's meaning, Caterpie can have 2 transformations. Is it a stage when it becomes a cocoon? If the evolutionary cycle is so short, it's really a big selling point. If I keep a big bug, I'll go crazy. Zhou Churan stuck out his tongue. If it can evolve into a beautiful big butterfly, female buyers should not reject it. I know that some girls are strange and like to raise silkworms. Lu Sheng said, Yes, it is more difficult for other Pokémon to evolve, let alone a second evolution. The voice fell, and everyone looked at each other. It seems that Pokémon can really evolve twice. They only knew about it, and Lu Sheng had not disclosed any information before. If the outside world knows, I am afraid that the eyes of each biological company will be more red. Can Pikachu, Wartortle, Charmeleon, all evolve a second time? Zhou Churan asked blankly. The first time I heard it, it seemed like a new door had opened. But on second thought, if you can evolve once, then it doesn't seem strange to evolve a second time. Yes, with each evolution, their strength will increase. Lu Sheng told the truth. Wow! Everyone was amazed. No need for Lu Sheng to explain, they can also guess that after the second evolution, Pokémon must have more powerful skills. If evolution just changes the shape of the transform body, everyone will feel very normal. I don't know what the second evolution will be like. Everyone was full of curiosity. The first evolution has attracted worldwide attention. If it evolves for the second time, they don't know how Lu Sheng's brain grows, and being able to design genetic creatures like Pokémon is gradually changing everyone's inherent impression of genetic creatures. Caterpie feeding doesn't take much effort. Use nutritional paste at the beginning, and then go directly to get a batch of leaves. Through Caterpie's screening, the leaves of 2 or 3 plants were favored. It can be said that Caterpie is by far the least laborious and cost-effective to feed. I went to see Caterpie the next day, and my body was already fat, and the growth rate was the same as that of insects. A few days later, the second batch of Caterpie Pokémon eggs 787 has hatched successfully, and there are many large caterpillars in the breeder room. The rest of the Pokémon seeds that were put in with the first batch of Caterpie are also gradually transferred to the hatching room. Suicune's Pokémon eggs are relatively large, but they are not satisfied with the molding speed. From injection of genes to molding, it only takes about a week before and after. When the eggs were moved, Lu Sheng was there to supervise, for fear that they would accidentally break the only Pokémon egg. After being sent to the incubator, check the health of the inside as soon as possible. A burst of strong light shone, and the Suicune inside moved slightly. Lu Sheng put his ear on the surface of the eggshell, and the Suicune inside seemed to be sending a close signal to Lu Sheng. The induction from the spiritual level is similar to the original Mew, very strange. Mew floated over, looked around the Pokémon egg, stroking his long tail over the Pokémon egg, also discovering the speciality of Suicune. Tisk, this is the trump card of Purify World Water, you have to help me look after it. Lu Sheng said to Mew. Ba tilde, Mew responded, as if to understand. Lu Sheng went to the nursery in Breeder's room to see Caterpie. There were quite a few of them, and one of them just rolled on the floor or climbed up the wall. Zhou Churan was reluctant to come to the breeder room recently, because there was a group of Caterpie. She felt hairy and uncomfortable as soon as she entered. Today Lu Sheng intends to take the first batch of Caterpie and deliver it to the mountain in Pokémon Paradise. Wait to send them there, are you too young? Zhou Churan frowned. So what if I send away one batch, the second batch of Caterpie will be born soon, so sad. For insects, it's not too small. Lu Sheng quipped. Why, are you reluctant? Or, before you leave, you can touch them and say goodbye. Never. Zhou Churan stared, shook his head again and again, and then said, they don't look aggressive. If they are placed outside, they are not afraid of being taken away by the big birds in the sky. Birds like to catch bugs, let alone big bugs. Look at their reminders, they are very plump. I am afraid it is not tender and juicy. If you take one back, you can feed a litter of young and old for several days. The surface of the Caterpie looked very fragile, and Zhou Churan felt that it would be broken if it was stabbed, and it might not be able to withstand the bite of birds and beasts. You underestimate them. It's not that they have no countermeasures. Besides, Lu Sheng said helplessly, since Charmander took them away, where can there be any birds on the mountain, and all the eggs have been cleaned out? Zhou Churan couldn't help laughing. Those naughty fools. Come on, let me show you what Caterpie is capable of. Lu Sheng picked up a relatively strong Caterpie and motioned Zhou Churan and the others to follow. When everyone came to the playground, Lu Sheng put down Caterpie and placed a big rock in front of Caterpie. Caterpie, aim at the stone, use string shot. Lu Sheng pointed to the stone AECA head and said. Huh. Caterpie stared at his big black eyes with a puzzled look. That's right, string shot. Lu Sheng opened his mouth, pointed at the stone, and kept making gestures. Caterpie understood, opened his mouth, non-white worm silk spurted out, and quickly wrapped the stone in front of him. Wow, what a huge amount of spit. I'm going to try the toughness and viscosity, maybe it's better than silk. If this is a Caterpie factory, the output will be higher than silk. Everyone checked the large stone entangled with white worm silk and found that the worm silk is very tough and difficult to break. Some people can't help but think that selling Caterpie to some silkworm factories might be a good sales pitch. Looks like we don't have to worry too much, no Pokémon is a fuel-efficient lamp. Zhou Churan said with emotion. Before I thought Meowth was harmless to humans and animals, until I saw two Meowths fighting for a bead. I didn't know that their claws were sharp, and the walls and ground could easily leave claw marks. Caterpie doesn't look great. If a bird or eagle dares to touch it, it will definitely be wrapped into a mummy. Meowth likes shiny things, but also likes spherical objects. They didn't know it before, until an employee took out a glass bead to play with Meowth, and the two Meowths showed great interest, playing and having a fight because of ownership. At that time, Zhou Churan and others were stunned. Is it worth it for a worthless pearl? So later, each Meowth has extra large glass beads. It's just that Meowth's exclusive glass beads are stolen every day, and the second and third beads can be found from other Meowth's nests every day. Later, sending Meowth to Pokémon Land is a rare occurrence. They seem to be made to fight. The rest were thoughtful. 2 hours later, the truck stopped in front of Pokémon Land. Today the park is open to the public, and many people come and go. The popularity is still topping the table, and the entrance of the nearby store is also crowded with people. Passing by, don't miss it. Come and have a look. Cute Pichu doll, genuine license. Anyone wants Squirtle candy? Charmander lighter, you can give it to your husband when you buy it back. It has a unique shape, is licensed, and the price is not high. Most of the shops sell Pokémon derivatives, and when tourists go back, they always stop to take a look and buy one or two as souvenirs while they are happy. Pokémon Paradise saves merchants at the door. They are naturally grateful to Paradise, and they patted their chests one by one when they cooperated with Paradise, and they were very refreshing. Earning the money together. Lu Sheng jumped out of the car and led the Caterpies to jump out of the rear compartment, attracting exclamations from the tourists. A lot of big caterpillars. What a big bug. A whole new species. Well, a lot, I'm a little hairy. It feels good, a big fat one, and it looks cute. The surrounding tourists point to make way for Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng walked ahead, a group of Caterpie followed. The first time they went out, they were a little timid, their little heads looked around, and hugged tightly. Pikachu, Wartortle and Charmeleon are on the edge, acting as bodyguards. Gigi, see if there is anyone left behind. Lu Sheng shouted back. Gigi transferred to the car, glanced quickly, jumped out of the truck again, and walked at the end. A group of bugs entered the Pokémon Paradise with Lu Sheng. Along the way, the rate of return is naturally very high. Most of the tourists in the park have to put down the Pokémon in their hands and look curiously. Not everyone hates Caterpie. Compared to a small bug, Caterpie has a plump body and dark and translucent eyes. If you can overcome the thought of repelling bugs in your heart, it's worth a lick. Ha ha ha. Caterpie followed Lu Sheng up the mountain. On the way, a child saw the big bug and was scared to cry. When they got to the mountain, Lu Sheng arranged Caterpie in a small forest that had not been cut down before. Facing a forest of fresh leaves, Caterpie's eyes glow. Eat it if you want, but don't eat too much. Also, don't give me all the leafage and bald me, don't move the tree over there. Lu Sheng didn't intend for them to eat leafage on the mountain naturally, otherwise it would not be enough for them to eat all day. Every day must arrange to purchase a batch of fresh leaves from outside. Otherwise, after Caterpie eats the small woods on this side, he might nibble away the cones and saplings on the other side. After the placement here, Lu Sheng stopped by to check the growth of the cones and their fruit. The last time Lu Sheng came, stone-sized fruits had grown on the cones. Take a look again today, the fruit has grown several times, it is already the size of a large meatball, and there are faint red lines on the surface. Lu Sheng wandered around for a while, and was about to go down the mountain, when Gigi came over to pull Lu Sheng's sleeve and pointed somewhere. Lu Sheng understood. Since I've been with them for a long time, sometimes they can always understand a gesture or a short pronunciation. Gigi is saying that there is movement over there. Lu Sheng narrowed his eyes and observed the cone tree casually, approaching irregularly. Suddenly, he scolded, "Little boy, use the water gun over there." Wartortle was ready, opened his mouth, and spat out a jet of water. Slam la. In the dense forest over there, a figure jumped out. In a hurry, Lu Sheng caught a glimpse of the mask on the other's face. The masked man was responsive and strong, and made timely dodges, only to be sprayed on his shoulders by the water gun, and his figure leaned in midair. When his feet landed, he staggered back and fled in a panic. When Lu Sheng came to the place where the masked man was hiding, he saw that the masked man had quickly fled down the mountain, assisting the hidden advantage of the mountains and forests, and could not see the figure from time to time. Mew. Lu Sheng yelled at the side sky. Mew's figure appeared. Usually Mew will be with him, but Lu Sheng asked him to hide himself. Follow him, don't be discovered by him, and when he settles down, come back and tell me. Mew understood, flying in midair, and her figure merged with the air again. With Mew monitoring at high altitude, that guy can't escape Lu Sheng's palm. Lu Sheng's face was rather gloomy. There are security guards at the foot of the mountain, and will not let a tourist go up the mountain. Now there is one more masked man. I don't know who it is. It doesn't matter if it's just tourists who are curious. If this person has a ghost and goes up the mountain with a purpose, he should be more careful in the future. It seems that the security work in the park is not attentive, and can let anyone go up the mountain at will. Lu Sheng was already thinking about going back and hitting them hard. If Yishan's cone trees were destroyed, Lu Sheng's previous efforts would be in vain. Or go to the mountains to catch Pokémon. Certainly impossible under the mountain. Because there are enough people, and Pokémon are piling up. If you go to the mountain, occasionally there will be fun-loving little guys left behind, and they may be hacked. Pokémon's strength is stronger than that of humans, but their intelligence is not comparable. If they accidentally fall into a trap, they can easily be kidnapped. Although Lu Sheng was able to quickly find out through the Pokémon Watcher, Lu Sheng was busy at the time. If you really have similar thoughts, you need to kill the other party's actions in the cradle. Lu Sheng stayed on the mountain for a long time, and Mew flew back. Yeah. Mew pointed in the direction he left earlier and gestured with Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng touched its head and said with a smile, "We met them in the past, but I would like to see if those people don't have eyes." From Mew's words, Lu Sheng came to a conclusion. After the masked man went back, he saw someone else. In this way, Lu Sheng guessed that there is a high probability that someone is behind the instructions. It is also possible that Mew misunderstood. After Lu Sheng descended the mountain, he reprimanded the security guard who was guarding the intersection. Go to the monitoring room again, and let people rummage to see if there is a person in a black shirt going up the mountain. It's better to screen me strictly, don't miss anyone suspicious. After Lu Sheng explained, he took the Pokémon and left the paradise. With Mew's guidance, Lu Sheng's car was parked on a street, and in front of him, there was a familiar company building. Powerful Gene Biotechnology Company. A thief will never die. Killing intent emerged in Lu Sheng's heart. Since Ji Yu Li is courting death, send him to heaven in advance. If you can use Mew's confusion, you can easily crush Cooley. Like a car accident. 1. Lu Sheng quickly dismissed the idea. If you really use Mew to kill people, with Mew's character, would you like to? Mew is not a killer, not a bloodthirsty Pokémon. If it was Mewtwo, Lu Sheng would definitely give orders without hesitation, but Mew couldn't. The childlike and kind-hearted Mew is as pure as a blank sheet of paper. Lu Sheng couldn't bear to let it get stained. After a short game in his mind, he finally chose to give up relying on Mew. Not long ago, Lu Sheng thought about using Mew to kill Ji Yu Li and Huang Yuteo, but after being in contact with Mew for a long time, he couldn't bear to let Mew do such things. Need to find another way. Lu Sheng thought that since Ji Yu Li could no longer hold back, sooner or later, he would reveal his flaws. Thanks for watching.